we go. 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's it. We're on.
Hey, welcome to Twisted Hooks Tavern Tuesday.
That's right.
We are.
Oh, Jeremy
and Chris.
Twisted Hooks.
Twisted Hooks Fishing Team, and this is the best damn kayak podcast ever. That's right. We're here as a voice for the normal kayaker to help with kayak setups, what to do,
what not to do.
That's right, and talk about things that can help us all become better kayak anglers.
That's right. It's a community.
That's right. We're in a little bit of a different spot this week. We're not out in the garage where it's 9,000 degrees.
Dude, it's hot.
Yeah, it was very hot. We both last week are feeling it pretty bad, weren't we, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I straight up left the mic because I thought I was going to throw up.
Yeah, and I felt that 2 or 3 times last week, man.
Yeah, I went to the back of the garage and was getting ready to puke in a box, and it just didn't happen.
I mean, I don't know if he left. I don't know if y'all noticed me, but there was a couple times where I just kind of went over this way.
Choked it down a little bit.
I was like, hang on, man. I'm like, bro, I think I got way too hot, man. Way too hot.
It was like 105 degrees.
And we're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was only drinking what was in my cup because it was on ice and it was cold.
Right.
Other than that, I don't think I would have drank.
I quit drinking the beer about one second go around where I thought I was going to puke. Yeah, it was awful. But yeah, we're in a different spot. We got AC this week. So
that's right.
At this point, let's do that. Cheers, man.
Yeah, that's what we got up there.
Come on, Chris. Cheers. My brothers. Hell yeah. So we got some exciting news here.
Exciting.
Jeremy Coughlin Fishing has had a giveaway, and it is now over.
It is.
And he has a winner.
I do.
And we're going to
No,
we are going to give out that giveaway.
I just need to look at the winner name. I got to post it on social media, but Archery_Corey.
Archery_Corey.
Yeah.
Hey. Good job, Mark.
That's the guy. Yeah, he won, man. Random number, all that kind of stuff, and that's who came up. So
what all did he win, my brother?
He won this whole package here.
That's whole thing.
It looks a lot better on Instagram and Facebook because it's like all laid out and looks all pretty. But this is Venom's Pond Hopper package.
Pond Hopper.
So it's like $60 worth of baits, plus a Venom sticker, plus a Twisted Hook sticker.
Hell yeah.
Plus a first month's free of the monthly subscription to Catch Some Relief.
That's what's up right there.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Trinity's working with me so that, the winner can just give him their info and get right into the subscription.
That's right. And if you're watching us right now, you need to go to Jeremy Coughlin Fishing. And where can they find you at, brother?
Jeremy Coughlin on Instagram. Jeremy Coughlin on YouTube. Jeremy Coughlin on Facebook. Jeremy Coughlin Fishing on Facebook. You know what? I can show you.
Throw that up there,
Let's
bro.
throw up our stuff here.
Say, how do you keep up with all of it?
It's a every time I go to the bathroom, every time I have a minute, like I'm on my phone checking stuff, trying to reply to messages. It is hectic. My wife is, there's some days that are better than others, and she kind of gets on me about paying her some attention because I'm looking at my phone all the time.
It's precious.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there we go. We got my stuff. You got Chris's stuff. All our personal stuff up at the top, and then you got all our Twisted Hook stuff at the bottom.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I just stick with Facebook. That's it.
Yeah. Dude, choose one. I'm gonna tell you what, man, it is hard.
Since we're talking about Chris Marks here,
there we go.
We should introduce Chris Marks.
Absolutely.
Right?
That was the next. Yes, sir.
You're kind of a, kind of keep to yourself sort of guy, right? So I put up the NAKA stuff. If they want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of NAKA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything comes through the NAKA Facebook page. You have the public page and we have the private page that a majority of the folks are on. So it's over. When we post stuff, it's going out to over 3,000 people. So it's a big thing, and you always have to be cognizant about what you're posting out there. So because it's not just adults, it's little kids and everything else out there watching that. So especially with the new youth trail and all that. So, but anyway, yeah, I don't ever have a whole lot of accounts, and I just go to that one. But on my Facebook, got Gunnersville Bass Fishing, you got Pickwick Lake Bass Fishing, all these other kayak sites and stuff throughout the country, just to And so my feed is always coming through, and it's always just fishing stuff. It's
Fishing
crazy.
That's right.
And you love it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do want to welcome Chris Marks. He's the NAKA North Alabama Kayak Anglers Tournament Director. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you coming out here and hanging out with us tonight. If you don't mind, Chris, give us a little bit of history about yourself and how you got into NAKA and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, so, I've been fishing ever since I was a little kid. I grew up in Madison up until the 3rd grade. So my dad had a bass boat. And so we were always going out toward Wilson and fishing out there. So kind of grew up with that, going with my dad, fishing. And that's getting up at, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, making sure that I can eat a whole pack of cheese crackers while he's out there fishing. That was pretty much my job.
Right.
Then after that, we ended up moving to Tennessee, and we had a 77-acre farm up in Tennessee.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
I grew up farming after that, and there wasn't a whole lot of time for fishing other than I was in Boy Scouts.
Right.
And so we did canoe and trips all the time down the Elk River. So, that's when I would get my fishing in, whenever I was
Cool.
going down the river. So
yeah.
a lot of trout fishing and a lot of canned corn got used,
Oh yeah.
Right.
which I don't think is
Trying to get
legal,
some
but
Carp.
no, just trout. We were going for
Oh,
trout.
okay.
Yeah. Anything else that would hit it, we didn't really know what we were doing. Of course,
Right
we
on.
were snagging more rocks on the bottom of the river than anything else. But anyway, let's fast forward back into 97, moved to Huntsville. By then I was managing a music store.
Really?
I worked for a music store for 11 years. It used to be called Blockbuster Music, Warehouse Music, record bar.
Really?
I did all of
I
that.
could see him with like some long hair and just like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a long time ago, my goal was to get into music. So I went to Calhoun on a performing arts, singing and playing sax. I don't do any
Nice.
of it anymore, but thought I wanted to be a copyright lawyer and move up to Nashville. But life changes.
Man,
Doing home building and
Never would have thought that, bro.
No.
Never
No,
would have
no.
thought that about you, man.
Yeah.
That's
So-
awesome, though. I love it.
yeah, I love music. So I love music. I love fishing, and I hardly ever watch TV. It's either YouTube or finding stuff to listen to,
Right.
and new and upcoming artists and stuff.
Music
But
makes the world go round.
It does make the world go around. man.
Absolutely.
Music makes the world go around.
well, and I got back into fishing. I quit the music store. Like I said, I was doing home building part time, and our lumber salesman bought a farm in Gurley, a sod farm, and so started working on sod farm. And we had a couple of ponds out there, plus we had Hurricane Creek right next to it.
Right.
So started getting back into fishing, doing that, and just whenever we had a little downtime, go in there and fish. Then I moved into my new neighborhood, and I had a neighbor that he's been with bass fishing since he moved. Well, since he was a kid too. He grew up down in Birmingham area, and then he came up to Huntsville and started learning how to fish Gunnersville and Wheeler and Pickwick. And he's like, man, you need to come with me sometime. I was like, man, I hadn't fished in years. My rod is probably about 10 years old. The line's probably it's still going to be embedded with the line memory and everything.
Right.
So he said, all you need is a pair of waders. I was like, okay, so we're going to go wading. So that's what we did. And this is in May, right? So we're in waders, all the way up here, and we're going to Gunnersville into different areas, the honeycomb, because it's all hard bottom. I mean, that's one of those things that you learn about bass fishing is if there's a hard bottom, you're going to have brim beds. And when you have brim beds, you're going to have bass. So,
Nice.
So lesson one, just in waders. And then we go over to Seabold, where you see a lot of these guys fishing.
It's froze.
And which button? Oh,
Just the
we're
power
frozen.
button. Yeah. Flip it back. Flip it forward. There you go. We're good.
All right, now we're cooking with Wesson.
We're back.
But just doing the wade fishing, just like Seabold, you get out there and this is when it had good grass, right? Before they really started spraying all these areas and just killing the good fisheries and stuff that we had that were close to the bank that you didn't really have to go far in a boat. But we were catching tons of fish. Well, I liked it so much, I came back and, talked to my wife and I was like, I really need just to get a John boat. So
That's how we started.
That's exactly how we started. Yeah.
Bought a little 1432 John boat.
32.
Yes.
That's a skinny little thing.
It was very skinny and very unstable. I used a trolling motor for a couple of months on that before
we did. Yeah.
And then I bought like a little 2.5 Coleman motor and put on it.
Right.
And then of course I got 2 sons, and so trying to get them out there and fishing and having a good time. Did that for a while, and then I was like, there's got to be another way, because I'd see these guys out there kayaking. I'm pretty sure it was Nate and David and all those guys with NAKA. I just didn't know them at the time.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was them out there, because we're all kind of in the same little general vicinity right there in Honeycomb area. Well, I was like, I need to go look into that and get it. So I started looking on Craigslist, right? I don't think Facebook Marketplace existed at that time.
Probably not.
So I did find a boat. It was a guy that used to fish with NAKA. Ended up getting my first boat. It was like $350.
That's a good price.
Yeah. And it's, a lower, not high seat, just a basic, kayak. Got into that. And I was like, I need to look and see if there's any kind of clubs or any kind of organizations that do tournaments, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to fish a tournament is in this kayak, because I don't have a bass boat. I can't afford a bass boat.
Exactly.
So, so you don't have to have $70,000, $50,000 just to get out there and tournament fish and just kind of have fun with it. And to me, I just enjoy just going out there. When we're doing tournaments and stuff, we always do the camp outs the night before, just kind of getting around, joking. You're learning things. You're learning about new baits, lures, what people are doing. But, and then, just the camaraderie that we always talk about, that we hear you guys talking about all the time. That's what kind of drew me into it. So, now don't get me wrong, I still like being on a bass boat and fishing some tournaments, but only do that about once or twice a year.
Right.
But for the most part, it's always on my kayak. And I usually go about 2 to 3 times a week. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm about 25 minutes from Honeycomb, and I'm about 23 minutes from North Saudi.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. Why not go?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I would
20 minutes, you're in the water, bro.
I mean, I would say we probably fish 2 or 3 days a week and try to go on the weekend, just because, my wife is really starting to get into it, and we go hit ponds and stuff, and it's something that we can just hit for an hour and then come back home. And, whatever. So. And
we have one of those in our neighborhood. It's the retention pond, but it actually has bass in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we're talking like 5 and 6 pounders.
How often are you going over there?
Not as much this year, because all these kids are fishing it right now. So it's getting fished out. Everything's sorely up right now. But
we're waiting for that invite to go to that pond, man. Let's go to that pond.
So, we a couple of years ago, because that was like the testing ground, like you blank or zero on Gunnersville or wherever you're fishing.
That's right.
You have to go back to that pond just to catch one to redeem yourself,
So we do the exact same thing. We call them
confidence.
It's a confidence builder, man.
That's right.
Yeah. So we do that, and we actually have some grass on that pond, so you can actually frog that pond, which is my favorite thing to do, is topwater.
Absolutely, us too, man.
We'll talk about that in a little while. I've got a whole list of approaches for frogging whenever y'all guys want to get into it. But just to finish out with talking about being on the NAKA board. I'm a tournament director for them. I've been doing it for, I think, 3 years or 4 years now. I can't remember. It's been so long. It seems like it all kind of runs together.
It does, man.
But I fished my first tournament with NAKA, had no clue what to do. I mean, we didn't have videos. There wasn't any kind of really instruction. I think it was the day before I finally figured out you had to have a hog trough, like the actual hog trough that we were using.
Exactly.
Because I was using like the golden ruler,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had a Cabela's ruler, and then, we were like, let's go tournament fishing.
Right.
Oh, we need a special ruler.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah. And then, back then we didn't have the sticker, right? That was something that came along a little later, just because we had the identifiers, and it was a piece of paper about the size of your cell phone, right? And it would have like a NAKA logo on it. And then we would go to the captain's meeting, and then you would write down in the corners of it. And a lot of people would put them in a paper bag or just laminate them real quick that way, and then tether them to your bump board.
Right.
Because my first tournament, I actually carried 2, right? Boy Scout always prepared.
Right.
That's right.
My first one blew off into the water.
No.
So I had to reach back for the reserve, because it was like I was totally green going into the first tournament. Of course, your first fish, you get the fish grips and you're just shaking like,
oh, you're so excited.
And you're trying to take that picture.
So excited.
All right. You're trying to take a picture and like, I can't find the button up here.
Right.
Okay, I think it's right there.
So, dude, and you're so afraid that fish is going to flip or flop or whatever, or bow that tail so that you can't get a good reading. I totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I switched over. I have an Android. I always use Android. I can't stand Apple stuff.
I'm there with you.
But it's got voice commands.
Nice.
Really? That's cool.
So you could just say cheese.
Yeah.
And it'll take a picture.
Word, right? Whatever you want to set your word.
You can say
as.
cheese or capture. I always say capture. And it's taking pictures now. But so I learned all that stuff, the little tricks and stuff into it. But, it took the first tournament. I remember moving locations like 3 times. I started out in Scottsboro and then I moved to Gunnersville because we always try to do those tournaments where you're kind of equal on the lake. So if we do a captain's meeting in Scottsboro, then the weigh-in's going to be in Gunnersville. So if the guys that were heading to Gunnersville, they're spending all that time on the road trying to get down there. So you're going to share it on the back end if you stick with the north side of the lake. So just try to keep everything as even keel as possible whenever we do that. So
that's typically how we do it too. I mean, I feel like NAKA's kind of followed that for the whole time that we've been in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So wherever the captain's meeting was, when we were having real captain's meetings, we would work our way towards the weigh-in.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We did that one time when we were fishing over there at Goose Pond. Yeah. And we had to, I don't know. We did not work our way towards.
No,
we didn't. We had to haul.
Is that the one when y'all were smoking when y'all were coming in? Like,
dude,
you can see you're sweating. I remember that.
Yes.
We're like counting down. It's like, okay, it's like 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
So after 15 minutes, you're DQ'd. And I think you guys were like 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute left.
Yeah.
1 minute. Yeah.
I didn't even catch a fish.
Because one of you jumped out of the truck and ran. The other one was parking.
That was me.
Okay.
That was me.
I remember that.
I'm like, go, bro. I got the truck.
He's like, I got the truck and trailer. Just go. I'm running in there, man. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I'm here.
So it's so hectic, when we're doing those weigh-ins. I mean, like I was telling Jeremy earlier, I said, we don't have a whole lot of time unless it's after and we get to talk to folks and stuff. But, those are the things that you remember is the panic moments and everybody coming in, because that's one of those things that's not necessarily always normal.
It's so exciting, man. It's so exciting.
I mean, the only reason it ended up being like that is because, like, about the time we were like, okay, it's time to go, he caught a fish.
Right.
A
decent fish.
Yeah.
Decent. Yeah.
So it kind of put us back a little bit, and
we were paddling, and it was just crazy, man.
It was crazy.
But I remember that first tournament. Like I said, switching locations, and then it rains. It always rains on Gunnersville.
Yeah.
No matter any time of the year, we try to move it.
Right.
Like last year, we moved it to the second tournament of the year, try to get some better fishing weather. And
it
I'll
rained
explain.
pretty good.
Yeah. The lightning storm right there at the beginning. So I took my little boat out, and of course, it was white capping when I was out there, so it was coming over the gunnel. I had to pull scuppers, okay, this was dumb. So I remember just picking up my boat and literally driving right across the street at the close to Allred's over there, and just putting in on that side where it wasn't any wind, and actually got my 3 fish, and I was excited,
Yeah.
So first tournament did that. Always memorable. But talking about being tournament director, So what we do every year is at the end of the season, right, we'll get together and have a powwow and say, okay, what was good, what was bad about this season, right? What improvements can we always make, because we're always continually trying to improve and keep it smooth. A lot of times it does look smooth. It's like a duck in the water. Your feet, we're moving in the background, but
nobody sees the feet paddling.
No. So it does come across that way, but sometimes it gets a little hectic. And we always forget the big check. No matter what happens, we always forget the big check. It seems like so. Of all the things, but yeah. So
you just need a big, like, one of those comic book, pow, but it says like winner.
Right.
You're the winner. That's it.
You're the
winner. What I mean? You don't get a check.
No name. No, just winner.
So I think we even forgot the big check on the last virtual.
Really?
It was sitting right next to us while we were filming, and we just totally forgot about it again.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole lot different now that we've gone digital. So we're not having the meet and greets and all that stuff.
Right.
I do miss that though.
Yeah, man.
Well, I actually like the virtual right now because it allows us to launch at the same time you guys do, and it allows us to get off the water at the same time you do.
Right.
So we're not having to be the last ones in and the first ones out. Right. So, I mean, you're talking like hours sometimes, depending on where you got to be.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that
that's a disadvantage
from an organization standpoint. I definitely can see that.
So, and so you want to catch fish early. And again, I enjoy fishing. I enjoy tournament fishing. It's not always about winning to me. I am competitive, but I mean, it just takes a little bit different mentality. You can't get mad about it. It's just, you're actually performing a services for a lot of other guys to enjoy. Right. And so, that makes us happy too when we get to do that. So,
hell yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
But yeah, trying to plan the trail. That's what we do at the end of the season. We try to get it in there in the November, December timeframe before a lot of the big organizations.
I say you kind of got to, right? The calendar for the next year for all these lakes fills up pretty quick.
It does, but we don't even contact the lakes because we're in kayaks. Unless that it's something that we want to try to get some sponsorship and,
right.
Because we'll reach out to chambers and say, hey, we're about to bring about 70 guys into town to fish, and email them, nothing, call them, no response back. And okay, so they don't want us, they don't want to help us out. Muscle Shoals, Colbert County has helped us out the last couple of years, actually put it in their budget to help us and help match, up to like $1,000.
Yeah. So, I remember that tournament, and I was trying, we were trying hard, man. Cause it was, what the pot was, you know what I mean? Plus that extra 1K.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was like,
let's
go, bro. Yeah. Let's do this.
And we caught a lot of fish.
We did.
They just weren't big, man.
Jeremy was on them that day, man. He had a spot, and he would not leave that spot. I was
working it.
He was working it bad, man. And
but I was catching fish.
He did
you know
good.
what I mean? Like I was catching fish.
He did really good, man.
Well, so we're talking about planning. So we got to figure out where we're going to do the open. Like we are doing Gunnersville Open because it's usually, you got a lot of guys in the off season, new kayak anglers, and they're familiar with the lake. So we normally have a really big turnout for the first one. And so Gunnersville is usually where we normally stick with. We tried to mix it up last year using Smith Lake, and you could use, fish any lake in the Coleman area for that one. But it's a good problem to have, but we have so many anglers. We don't have places that can hold us anymore for food.
What'd you say?
I'm going to let Chris March read that comment from Trinity right there.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and read it out for everybody, Chris.
It says, Catch and Relief will give products to the top 3 winners at your next tournament.
How cool is
Appreciate
that?
it, Trinity. Awesome.
How cool is that, man?
Trinity shot that while he's mowing his lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
this is going. You're the man, dude.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Earlier I said Trinity is so cool. I mean, that's what he does, man. When he came on the show, I mean, he was just like this laid back, just,
But he never stops moving.
No, his saying is sharks don't
sleep.
That's right.
That's right.
And he don't, man. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but the dude is always going forward. He never stops. He never goes backwards. He always goes forward. It's awesome.
I mean, what's the alternative? Stand still.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you get stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had bouts with that. I mean, from a personal level, I mean, I kind of was going through that here recently about being stagnant and stuff like that. I'm trying to work my way through it. You know what I mean? It becomes hard. It becomes difficult, and you kind of get in your head a little bit about it. But I have that desire to continue to move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to keep going. I want to keep going.
When I get slow in motivation, like I watch motivational videos. Like it like hypes me up. Stuff for like motivation to get in the gym or whatever. Like just that uplifting sort of, you can do it, you can get off your ass. You know what I mean? Like go do it. Like that's the stuff I listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it has to be yourself though. It can't be somebody telling you, hey, you need to
No, it's video. And it's like, I've made a whole playlist of just motivational, like a 1 hour motivational thing. And it's just different speakers after different speakers. And one of my favorite is Arnold Schwarzenegger. That dude is like, that dude's funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking, one of his things, he was talking about like, there's 24 hours a day. There's only 24 hours a day. And I'm gonna get to the gist of it. Like, he's like, I sleep for 6 hours, and people start complaining. Well, I need 8 hours sleep. He goes, well, I guess I just sleep faster than you.
Right.
And that's just one of the funniest things I've ever heard somebody say is, I just sleep faster than you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm transitioning back into the tournament planning right quick, and then we'll.
Yeah. No, you're good, man.
Okay.
Take all the time you want, man.
So a lot of things, and it takes a while.
We got some people I'm going to shout out, to Scott and Ryan and Ma.
Oh, the Iowa crew.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, Scott Adkins. He said he's digging the round table.
Is he now?
Yeah.
I mean, Scott Adkins is one cool dude, man.
Scott's he is like our oldest fan other than family members.
I mean, for real. I mean, this dude is here every single week.
He's been here since week 1. He watches us on this big screen.
Every single week.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, he did reach out on Facebook for friends. So, you know, I have a thing on for Facebook, you know,
Sure.
if I have not met you in person, if I don't really have your number, or, you know, if I don't know you that
Right.
well, then I don't do that. But that's more dealing with my security clearance and,
Oh yeah.
you know, knowing who's watching you and all that stuff. So,
Exactly.
Right.
yeah. So I'm real cognizant about that. So it's not offensive if you ask for a friend or whatever. I'd like to meet you first and then do it that
Right.
way. So
No, I'll tell you what, Twisted Hooks can vouch for Scott.
Dude's coming from Ottawa. Isn't that in Canada?
Ottawa. Where's
David Hansen.
David Hansen? Where actually is Ottawa? Let us know in the comments. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. There was one. We had a really good show. I mean, all our shows are good, but we had a really good show about a month or two ago, and I kind of went
9 different countries or
I mean,
something.
yeah,
that
it was
we
crazy.
didn't watch from.
Canada.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it was Canada.
I mean, we were looking at people. People were watching us in Mexico, and in hell, we are with fucking guys from
Canada, baby.
That's right.
Hey, yo, I got a lot of friends. Like I was kind of the same way on my social media. If I don't know, you start Facebook and you like start friending all the people you know.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I ain't talked to this dude in like 6 months. Delete. You know what I mean? Like, and I whittled it down to like 150,
Right.
which was still more people than I talk to on a weekly basis.
Right.
But since trying to grow our platform, I have I've been really like going after kayak anglers because
Right.
that's what
but
we
it's
are.
different though, because this is society.
Right.
This is not personal. This is
Right.
your
So
thing. Your
yeah,
club,
there's
right?
a whole group of dudes that are Canada bass kayak anglers, and they are on it, son.
Really?
Yeah, and I dig it. So
That's cool, man.
thanks for joining us, David.
Yeah,
that's
appreciate
awesome.
you.
We keep cutting Chris off.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you're
no,
fine, man. I can keep going. I mean,
Nah, do
we're
your
talking
thing.
about planning for kayaks and stuff for the tournaments, and a lot of that. What we go into that is, you know, we have to wait till close to the end of the year, right? Your school boards, they give all their calendars and stuff out. So
Sure.
we're looking at where a majority of our anglers are coming in from. It's either Muscle Shoals, you know, Decatur, Madison, those areas, and so we'll pull the school schedules to see when spring breaks are.
Okay.
You're also looking at when the holidays are. So you don't want to put a tournament on a holiday or holiday weekend.
I suppose it
Right.
makes a difference for the youth.
Yeah,
section of it,
Definitely.
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then you're also looking at time change, right? You know, in March, a lot of times. And then I actually go and look at the Farmer's Almanac when we look about, if you notice it, we try not to fish, or I have purposely not tried to schedule a tournament on full moons, on
Yeah.
the weekends that we have full moons.
I mean,
Just-
that's when we should be having tournaments.
Well,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
we kind of did that on that last tournament. Wasn't it the last tournament that we did?
No, we just went fishing.
Oh, we were just
Yeah,
fishing.
we
that
were
time?
just fishing.
I mean, like you said earlier, it all kind of blends together. a little
Yeah,
bit.
it
Yeah.
does. I mean,
Yeah.
we take all that stuff and kind of calculate it and
Yeah.
then just say, okay, this looks like a good weekend. Let's plop it down there and see if it sticks, and
Right.
Right.
put the schedule together, run it through the board, see if anybody's got any conflicts or any kind of issues or something that I didn't see, right? You know, because I've got blinders on. I'm like,
Sure.
I just got to get this done.
Right. Right.
And then
right.
after that, it's just you're just waiting for months, you know. And then when you get about 2 months closer into the tournament, you're contacting the restaurants or contacting multiple restaurants to see if they could handle us.
How do you guys divvy up those kind of, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
talking to
exactly.
sponsors, getting giveaway gifts, getting all that kind of
So,
stuff?
You
you
said
know-
you had 4 or 5 guys, right?
So I mean, there's 9 of us
I was
on the
gonna say,
board,
there's quite a few. board
right? So
members.
you know, Nate and his brother David, you know, started the club, so
Yep.
they take care of a lot of the sponsorships. They are the face of NAKA, so they do an awesome job of getting great sponsors.
They do. They really do.
We've had
they do,
consistent
yeah.
sponsors over the years. You know, Leaf and Creek has always supported us over
Right.
the years. The kayak store, Tony Dean, you know.
We love
uh,
Tony.
We
So,
do.
you know, Freedom Marine, that was something that was new this year, you know, with the Hobie,
Yeah,
getting the Outback.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And that had to do with Hobie and NAKA supporting the Hobie Open on Gunnersville last year. It kind of helped out with that, just talking with them. And
Okay.
it was something they were really interested in helping us out. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. It really
yeah.
is.
So we got, you know, David, you got Nate, Chris McNeil. He and I were doing the tournament stuff, both of
Mhm.
us doing the tournament trail, you know, because he had done it a couple times before I pretty much I just roll with it, and we just feed back off each other. And so, you know, we just CC Nate and just let him know, here's what we're planning, and never get any pushback on it, because, you know, we're putting a lot of thought into it. So,
Sure.
you've got Jimmy Skinner, you know, he's doing the throwdowns.
Yep.
You know, he tries to get that set up. I know that this year he's a very busy guy, you know, with
Most
being an
definitely.
Alabama bass guy, but also with this COVID, we're just not doing the throwdowns. And if you're not familiar with what a throwdown is, it's usually during a weeknight, usually a Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. We'll just say, hey, we're going to meet up at this ramp at 5 o'clock. You're going to fish from 5 to 8. Everybody throws in $10. Winner takes all, best of 3.
Sure.
And those are fun. And those are
it seems like spots. We are always like, it always comes up short notice and we just got other stuff.
And that's the thing. It is short notice because the way that we run a lot of those throwdowns, it's not planned.
Right.
And anybody can technically do it. You got to have the waivers and the signatures and, but, and that's how I actually got started into doing this because I was doing the throwdowns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would do like, okay, we're going to do a frog only throwdown, here in Mud Creek.
When's that?
Yeah. And then I did a tri-state.
Yeah, let's get that thing going. Hell yeah.
Right. I did a tri-state frog only tournament in Stevenson. So I had Georgia and Tennessee and our guys show up for that. And that was just a kind of the battle of the states. And, and we've been talking about trying to do something like that again because it's kind of in a neutral territory. It's up there. The guys from Tennessee can come down. The guys from North Georgia can come up. We can come over. So we're going to try to plan something like that. And it's just a fun tournament, not for points or anything like that. It's just
bragging rights.
Bragging rights. Yeah.
Get some fish, bro.
It's good stuff. Man.
So you got Sam Dean. He does the NAKA Big Bass, judging for that. Randall Wallace, he's doing a lot of the youth, so everybody, and Robert Brown, he actually this year he's helped us out tremendously because of he hasn't been able to fish the tournaments with us, but he's actually one of the judges, and so he's helping out. Him and Jimmy actually been, they've skipped out on the last couple of tournaments because of other obligations, but they're home, and so they're actually able to score the fish, and they'll leave the difficult ones for us to come in and make those judgment calls.
Gotcha.
So by the time we get off the water, and of course the last couple tournaments, it's like an hour and a half drive just to get back. Everything is scored for except for 5 or 6 fish. So all we have to do is come in and start getting everything set up for the door prize. It's the random number generator and just getting the spreadsheet.
That's cool.
It's like we're able to get it done a whole lot faster. We were running close to 80 folks through. It took about 45 minutes to score everybody's fish, looking at the picture, and then manually putting everything into the computer.
Sure. Well,
now with Tourney X, it's automatically there.
Right.
It's already scored. We just have to transfer it to our spreadsheet, and it's done.
I mean, I could see the advantage of using Tourney X, even if we got back to a normal sort of tournament.
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with Tourney X. I don't think we're ever going to go back to. We still want to do the weigh-ins because that's just fun. I mean,
yeah, it is fun. I mean, you see a guy out there, he goes out there and he has a really good day and he comes up there, he wins the tournament. For me, it's cool to watch that guy go up there and have that pride about himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's just excited.
He's excited. There's a lot of good, positive energy in that. And I mean, hopefully we can get back to that point after we get over the stupid crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I like the specialty prizes,
Yeah.
Like, all right,
who's the idiot that fell in the water?
Yeah.
You get a pack of worms.
There you go.
That was us.
I know.
Tournament. Yeah.
I think we did a trick last year. We said this is the ultimate prize, one of the best ones we've ever given away.
Yeah.
And all right, we're fixing to call this number out, and Chris McNeil was hyping it up.
Right.
And then it ended up being a NAKA bump board sticker.
Hell yeah. I mean, if you don't have an extra one, you can always have an extra one. That's all I'm saying.
Definitely. Yeah. You can be like me. And
that's funny.
Sort of got to get, go to getting your kayak and then hit your bump board and break the damn bump board.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
I saw a guy on Weiss Lake. He was fishing. I don't know where he was from. I think he was one of the Georgia guys that were fishing. And he went to get in his boat, and he's got the swing blade, right? From Yak Attack. And he goes in and he slips on some moss just a little bit, and he lands right on it and snaps his transducer arm. And then he's just sitting there like in shock, like, really?
What do I do?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's like, I gotta go blind,
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a tendency to do that. Like I use a fish finder in the spring,
right,
and then sometimes in the fall when it gets cooler, because I'm looking for contour underneath.
Exactly.
I really don't care about it in the summertime.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's luck of the draw. If you find the grass, you'll find the bass. That's pretty much the general rule.
That's a cool little deal right there. Find the grass and you'll find the bass.
I mean, I'm the same way. Like there's times when I'm like, I know I'm going to be shallow. I'm going to be doing a certain sort of thing.
Right.
I don't even put the transducer in the water. I don't turn it on. You know what I mean?
Hell, the only reason sometimes I take my battery in the summertime is just for the lights when we first get out.
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be legal.
And charge your
That's it.
phone.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Awesome.
I noticed you're wearing a new canoe hat.
I do. I've got 2 of them.
You got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a Pursuit that I bought a couple of years ago at 18, and then I've got a new canoe Flint that I got this year. So that's my throw and go.
How do you like that Flint?
I like it. I love my Pursuit. You know,
Yeah.
The Flint's a little different. It's a little bit smaller. It does take a little getting used to. You can't stand in it as sturdy as you can with the Pursuit, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But you still can stand in it. You can still sight fish. It's just you got to be a little bit smoother on your throws because it'll rock you just a little bit.
Sure.
But
So what kind of water are you getting into that you're like, I'm taking the Flint?
So
how do you choose?
So I mean, it depends. Like if you know, I don't have a trailer or anything like that. So if I got a buddy coming with me, I'll choose the smaller boat so we can fit 2 in there where they're not necessarily rubbing against each other and having to stack on top of each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll do it that way. But you know, I bought it specifically for like the Flint River. The Flint River is a half a mile from my house.
Nice.
So I can put in like on the backside of Little Cove Road and just paddle up or paddle down and just go back to the same spot. But you know, if I got buddies, that's the secondary boat right there for them to get into it. But you know, it's a little bit more stable than the regular boats.
Sure.
It's kind of like a buddy boat, but I take it when I go frogging too, you know, just because, I mean, the Pursuit is so heavy, compared to the Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a bit different.
Sure. Yeah.
And especially in the summertime, because, you know, if you're fishing for 7-8 hours, you're sweating, you're tired by the time you get ready to get back to the boat and you try to lift up this boat and put it back in the back of your truck. Yeah. So
that's why we did our trailer, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's not so much at the beginning of the day, it is still heavy, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, paddling and fishing and the sun, whatever.
Absolutely.
You're tired, man.
Yeah.
Tired.
I had a Feel Free before that, the Lure 11.5. That was a very stable boat, very comfortable seat.
That was almost the one I bought before I said I'm getting a new.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of tricked that one out a little bit. You know, I had to put the rudder in it because the Feel Free has a tendency for that back end to drift. So you got to have something to keep it stable. And then Bernie's River Stick, I got in touch with Bernie. And it's kind of like the micro anchor.
Okay.
But it's just you pull the string. It's got a little, it's got a cam in it. And when you lift that string up, you just let it go and that spike will just drop.
Oh, really?
Because it's got a lot of weight down in the bottom.
Sure.
And so use that. But whenever I sold that boat, I sold everything with it, you know, so I could get enough capital to get my Pursuit.
Sure. Yeah.
I haven't done really much to the Pursuit yet, you know, so.
Them new canoes are good, man. They got a little bit, you know, they've got, you got to have a little bit of like you say, capital to get into them a little bit. But tell you what, you can do in a new canoe.
That's right. I mean, if you look at the price point and what you get for a new canoe, it's really kind of like the bargain price when you talk about the top 10 brands of kayaks.
I mean, really, it is, man.
The only one that beats the price point is actually a Vibe.
Oh, okay.
And it has, I don't remember what the actual name of the model was, but I actually put together a thing that I was going to do for a video, you know, like how to choose the right kayak for you and sort of stuff. But the Vibe was like $800 and had a 550-pound capacity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
like I was super surprised. I was like, that's actually a really good price. You know what I mean? For something that's going to do that well. Right. I don't know what the Pursuit is, but our Frontiers are $650.
Right.
And I feel like the Pursuit's probably the same.
It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can still put the same motor on the Pursuit that you can on your.
Right.
On your
and $650 is the highest one that I saw out of all the major brands. Like, well, out of any brand that I saw. So, I mean, that's why I chose New Canoe. And I think you chose because I did all the research and showed you the data, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and it's a good boat. And to me, it's the warranty stuff. So you miss a bolt or screw, you just contact them and it'll be in the mail.
Yeah, that was cool, man, because I think it was about a year ago. I had my seat and my seat had ripped. I guess maybe I'd fallen in it a little too hard trying to get in, you know, a little bit of wavy or whatever. So I contacted New Canoe and he's just like, I'll send you another one. And that's done.
I tell you why he did the same thing when
Blake was like,
yeah, Blake Young, the damn president, right?
Right. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's we're froze. Oh. I contacted him about the plug and play kit. The concept is great. The actual hardware is not that great. Yeah, we're good. And I contacted him and I said, hey, we're seeing this. This is our problem. It's kind of, it's not working because it's not getting contact because of, the way it's built. And he just sent us new ones for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I was like, cool. Thanks for the free stuff, but you should really change your design. And he goes, well, it's a third party vendor. They build it the way they build it.
Right.
So there was really nothing he could do. But I thought it was cool that he was receptive.
Oh, absolutely.
He definitely
he
is.
responded.
Definitely is. Blake is always up for new ideas. And if there's something that, the guys out there that are using his products that he can change and make it better, he's all in.
Right. David Hansen, what are you asking? 60 pounds? Like, how much does a kayak weigh? Or what did I say about our kayak?
What did Trinity say up there?
He said that's why you put CSR on your on to help the old back when you get off the kayak.
Yeah, I was going to kind of try to fit that in.
Yeah.
But we kept talking.
So, David,
100%.
if you're thinking about the kayak weight, 60 pounds, no.
No, absolutely not. It depends. What does your flint? What does your flint do? What's the weight on the flint?
I think it's over 60, but not that much
Not
over.
much over.
The Frontier is 77, I think, if it's just the kayak.
Right.
But then you talk to the seat and your tackle and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it gets there.
It gets heavy real quick.
Pretty quick. Especially if you've been fishing all day long, man. You know what I mean?
But 650-pound weight capacity, if that's what you're asking. That had a 6 in it. Entry level ones you guys talking about? No, we're talking about competitive tournament kayaks. I am confident throwing my $1,300 Frontier 12 against everything out there. The Hobies, the Bonafides, all that kind of stuff. So
whatever.
Yeah. Speaking of Hobie, I got to get in one of those. Sweet.
They are nice.
They are nice, and just the whole pedal. And it's almost like cheating in a sense because and even not just the Hobies and the other pedal kayaks. You're sitting there paddling the whole time, and you're having to pick your rod up. You don't have a chance to be tying on a new lure as you're trying to get to your new spot, and talking on your phone, and that you'll see some of these guys doing. But
just paddling.
I still like old school. I still like having the paddle. You know?
I think definitely that pedaling has an advantage than paddling does. No doubt about it. Like you were just talking about, you can tie lures as you're pedaling through to try to get to a new spot. But if you try to paddle, your hands are tied.
I feel like if you're trying to move, shoot, move, and communicate, lots of distance, pedals where it's at.
Yep.
But how often do we really paddle that far?
No, that's the whole part of kayak fishing is you're strategically. You've got your spot picked out, and you're not planning on moving.
Exactly.
It's the same rule as for big boats as kayaks. Lure in the water beats paddles in the water,
100%.
And the trolling motor. You know what I mean? Like up in the air and like cruising down to the next spot. A lot of these guys will like to do the run and gun. You don't have that option whenever you're kayak.
At the same time, how often were you in some stupid skinny water, or maybe full of grass, full of lily pads, full of all the stuff that pedals don't work in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I paddle. You know what I mean?
Right. All I was trying to say is they can their hands are not tied up when they're pedaling. You know what I mean?
I get it.
No,
But we allow pedals, and we allow, paddles. We're not doing motors. I don't think that's going to happen. You want to do that, then, there's other tournaments out there that allow that, like the BASS, BASS.
KBF.
No, I will say, we use it all the time. We use motors all the time when we're reconning spots, when we're trying to, look at spots and do it. If I had a boat, we would get in the boat and go recon spots. You know what I mean? Yep. But, when it comes to the tournament, who cares? I'll paddle. I don't care.
Sure.
Scott Hatkins says he was getting 6.5 to 6.8 with his little Honda 2.3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's got a Frontier 12 as well.
I think he
just got this Honda 2.3 the other day for a hell of a price. And I guess he was able to try it out this weekend.
You said the transducer was splashing up a lot of water?
I bet it was.
Ram mount transducer.
Splashing.
I can imagine. I'm surprised it didn't go sideways. So.
We got our favorite self here.
We have our favorite self.
That's right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him on here since he was on here.
Yeah. We ain't got into the frog and talk yet, Jeremy. But I like the nasty grass. I spent 2 hours Sunday afternoon cleaning both of my boats up because I'd neglected them for about 3 months.
Right.
And I think I was actually growing grass inside of my boat. You know, it was nasty. A funny story is we had just got back from hitting some pads and stuff like that the night before. My wife and my son wanted to go on our little community pond, so I backed the truck down there and get my little dolly, and have to hike about 100 yards to get them launched. Get out there, and I forgot to bring sunscreen. Right, you're like, oh, get sunscreen. Right. Come back. My wife was like, there are spiders all in this boat. It's so gross. I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't. I forgot to clean the boat before you got in it, dear. I'm so sorry. But yeah, lesson learned. I won't do that again. If I know that she's going to be getting in the boat, I'll clean it up. So. Absolutely.
I'm a fan of everybody taking care of their own boat.
Yeah.
My wife has her own kayak. So if she don't clean it before she goes out, like that's her fault.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of transitions to another talking about cleaning boats. Like I should have cleaned it. Like I used to have a little rule that, if I fish Guntersville all the time and then I'm going to go to like Coleman to one of those clear lakes, I'll make sure I try to clean at least the outside of the boat. So I'm not bringing any of those microorganisms or anything that's on another lake into and introducing it into a new body of water.
Sure. Absolutely.
So Mr. David Hansen, the smaller one that he was talking about is the NAKA Flint.
Right.
And they actually made that model for and named it after a river that, or I guess it's a river.
I guess so.
Flint River. It's not a creek, but it's at some points it is very small and very skinny, and that's why they made it. It's smaller, more agile, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you were talking about that Jackson Kayak Bite. It's kind of like the same thing. NAKA came out with the Flint, a little bit lower, I guess lower price than the premium, so it's kind of a medium boat. Sure. And Jackson answered with that one as well. So still good little stable boats, a little bit one step up above from your Sun Dolphins and the Ray Marine, those type of boats.
Sure.
But they'll definitely get you on the water. You'll definitely get the stand up in them, and even the boats at some of these smaller retail stores, they're really big now.
So check that door. Let me check it.
Okay.
So you're able to stand in those boats. So anyway,
that's cool, man. It really is.
So, hey, Jeremy, we'll get to the bugs here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we're working our way through.
Yeah.
Hi.
All right. So at some point,
let's get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to close this just because I'm here. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you killed us.
There
we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
So
manual focus.
So I'll just go through. I've got my little cheat sheet here that we're talking about for the setup that I do. I'm not a professional kayak bass fisherman by any means.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
I am a novice, right? I just go out there and have fun, but there's things that I've learned over the years, and I'll just kind of give you some of the highlights that I've got.
You don't give yourself enough credit, bro. You're pretty damn good. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, this guy is pretty damn good. Okay.
All right. So, we're going to start with a couple of basics. The first thing is going to be your rod. And we're talking specifically for frogging, frogging grass mats.
What we're talking
pads.
What we're talking about here, guys, excuse me, Chris. What we're talking about here is we are focused on nothing but frog fishing. We're not throwing swim baits. We're not throwing twig worms. We're not throwing rattle traps or anything like that. We are throwing frogs, and we're focused on top water. So Chris is going to kind of go through and give you your basic setup.
Right.
Thanks, Chris.
So the very first thing is going to be your rods that you're going to need.
What kind of rod would they like?
So you would want to have a tall rod. Now, I have one 8-foot rod. It's super heavy, and you will be tired throwing it all day long. But when you're throwing big frogs like this right here, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah. I just got a frog like that.
That is
a week and a half ago.
That's what they call a magnum frog.
Yeah, buddy.
So, just like condoms.
Yeah.
It's magnum. It's big.
So, you can see the difference. And I'll tell you what, let me put this off right quick.
Sure.
I know. I'm just going to come right here. Just tell me.
Yeah.
You got here.
There you go.
Can you see the difference in that in the camera? In the size?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
big difference.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Uh-oh.
I love this Magnum frog, man. And I'll tell you why, because it walks really well. And that's just something that I have a hard time doing with a smaller frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time trying to get it to walk just right.
Yeah. Flip flop.
But that
flip,
big
flop.
one,
Yeah,
ooh, it gets it.
You throw this big one on an 8-footer most of the time because it's, you know, a heavy frog. I don't know if y'all can hear that.
Oh,
We can
yeah.
hear it.
So that'll be your back to the basics trick right there.
Let me tell you, I'm learning right now because that's not
Absolutely.
something that I've done, and
So
I'm
am I.
about to.
Yeah, so 8 foot for big frogs. For the regular size frogs that we're using, popping frogs, you know, swamp donkeys, whatever.
Swamp donkey.
A 7'6" heavy with the fast tip is probably your best bet. Any kind of rod, as long as it's a heavy rod. You want to have a little bit of play in the tip, but not much.
Just the tip.
Yeah,
just the tip.
just the tip. And that has to do with you know, you don't want a whole lot of slack. So, you know, that comes into the next segment. You know, when we talk about you got a heavy duty rod. Yeah, I got some grass on your table.
You're good.
Yeah.
So what do you mean for these guys? Again, we're going back to the basics. There's a lot of terminology that us three kind of understand when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
But there may be some guys out there that don't really understand exactly what you're saying. So, I mean, I don't really mean to say dumb it down.
Let's dumb it down.
But hell yeah, let's dumb it down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean by heavy rod? Is it, you know, the backbone and all that jazz?
Yeah, absolutely. It has hardly any bend in it whatsoever, unless you get a 5 or 6 pounder on it, and it's going to bend a little bit.
Oh, sure.
But it's not like your medium heavies where when you catch a fish, you see the whole tip and the rod, you know, doing it what it's supposed to, right, to keep the lure in, right. It gives it a little giveaway. When you're frog fishing,
there's no give on a heavy.
You don't want give. The first thing you want to do when you're frog fishing is you want to get the head up. You want to get it out of the grass, out of the water. You don't want it to go in. If it dives, and you know the natural tendency is to bring your rod tip down, you never ever bow to a fish right? When you're frogging.
Right.
You keep the tip up the whole time, and that rod is so stiff that it doesn't have any give to it, and so that's what I'm saying. It's made for heavy, heavy fish. So
I have 2 frogging rods, and one is 7.6 and one is 7.11.
Right,
and they're both like extra heavy.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what you need.
Yeah,
yeah. Especially
you're just trying to rip it out of that Gunnersville grass.
So
you know,
if you guys are out there and you're going to try to pick out rods and stuff like that, they're always going to tell you somewhere around where the reel hooks up to it. It's usually on the back side, front side, something like that. They're going to tell you what that rod does. Yep.
Action,
all that jazz.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to tell you length. It's going to tell you action. And your action is going to be your backbone. Okay. So if you've got a heavy, then it's not going to give that play to you. You know what I mean? And there's other times where you're going to be fishing that you want to have that finesse aspect to it. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay. We're talking about heavy action, no give. And that way you've got that action. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And then to come right behind that heavy rod, you're going to need the line that's not going to give at all.
Right.
So
what would you use?
So I've got, again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just talk about what I use. I use Power Pro braid. Yeah. I use 65 pound braid, and I use 50 pound braid.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if I know I'm going to be on a dedicated mat and that's really thick, that has a lot of a grass sitting underneath it, right? There are floating mats that just are the dead grass floating up top, and there could be bare underneath it, but they're still hiding out under it. But you also have these mats that have the floating grass up top, and you also have milfoil, hydrilla, whatever underneath it.
Sure.
So, and those are the ones where you need that extra heavy powered line to pull those fish, to get that head up, to get them out of that mat. So
that's right.
Power Pro, I've used all kinds of different types of braids. This is probably the best, the Power Pro Slick. I've had it. Never had them fall out. A lot of people were complaining about the Slick line, but that deals on how you tie your knot, which we'll show that after a while on how I tie a knot. And very rare my knots don't fail.
Right.
Not the way I tie them, not for frogging.
Go ahead and get into your knot if you want to.
Well, okay.
I mean, we're just playing this by ear. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's going to be hard to see with his black line.
Let's see. What did you do with that? That's right we got a little bit of a background.
So
I got you.
So if I can talk to this, it's going to be a little different. Oh,
You can
mic malfunction.
You're good. You're good.
So this right here is just a D-ring. So this represents the eyelet of the frog, okay? Where you would put the string through, okay? So you just got to imagine this being there. So
There you go.
this is called a polymer. This is not going to fail. Got your line. You're going to come through the loop, right? Bring it all the way through. And then you're going to bring it back right through the hole. So you have a string in there like that. What you're going to do is you're going to come over that eyelet and twist and then pull this loop back through.
Come up a little bit, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Basically just did a big circle knot. Or
Just a big circle knot. And then,
knot, whatever they call
yeah.
it.
And then you're going to have enough slack in this line. All right. Y'all see this little loop?
Yep.
It would go underneath your frog and your bait, and you're going to bring it all the way to the top.
All the way around.
All the way around, and you're just going to kind of massage it up and cinch it down. So now what you essentially have is two lines holding that eyelet.
Right.
You got a double knot there, and then you can just finish it off with just like you were tying your shoe, just your still simple knot. I do that twice, and it's done. And I do that.
Polymer, right?
Yeah, it's a polymer knot, and I do that on all my hooks. It's just a simple knot to do. You don't have to worry about twisting it, 7 times, coming through the bottom loop, come through the top to cinch down. For what we're doing, it works.
So I've actually found I like that knot if I'm trying to do something like a crankbait or a lipless crankbait or something like that, where I just want a little more action. I want a little space where it's tied on to the knot. You can kind of create some space that, and I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's a good time to use it too.
Right. So, again, heavy rod, braided line. You just don't want any kind of give at all. You just want to make sure you get that head, pull them out. I brought a ton of different frogs, right?
Go ahead and show them.
Just a few. Just a few. So I'll get the headphones off again.
Sure.
We did have Trinity ask who makes the best frog, and that's a really hard question to ask.
That is a hard question.
It's all about what you're trying to fish.
Right.
There's different frogs for different situations.
Sure.
That's all snag proof.
That's all snag proof.
Right. This is all Spro.
So
see that?
I don't know if you got that, but that's two major manufacturers of frogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I just have
Ones
the
that he likes.
smorgasbord
Yeah.
of everything. Right?
And this is all nothing but frogs.
Just frogs.
Okay. He's got 3 different tackle cases, okay, of nothing but different types of frogs.
Yeah.
So for all you guys, we're going back to the basics, right? We're talking about general, plain Jane type of stuff, right? So you can tell how deep you can get into this fishing deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Chris, he brought us 3 different bait tackle boxes of nothing but frogs.
That's probably $500 worth of frogs.
Oh, easy.
Easy.
It is though. Let's just be real here.
Yeah.
Honey, he's lying. I promise you.
He didn't buy them all yesterday. He's accumulated them over years. of
Absolutely.
practice. Right.
No. That's only 50. We added an extra 0. I'm
Right.
sorry.
No, it does get addictive. I've got a couple of different ones I'll show you. It depends on situations, where you're trying to fish, time of the year.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to get that stuff in order right here. This is just a regular frog, standard run of the mill. It has a smooth face underneath it, right? So it doesn't get snagged on anything. You can come right through the top of the grass mat with this. You're just pulling it right through. A tendency to do the it's like the pull pause, like 3 3 3 stop.
Sure.
Yeah, so you're popping that thing through and letting it stop, because a lot of times, when you're in those mats, the fish really can't see it, but they can hear it.
Mhm.
And so, that's one of the things that We try to put
like two basic ones. Like either it's smooth or it's popper, or is there another one?
There's two basic ones. The regular smooth that will come through the grass, and then you actually have a popping frog that actually has a lip to it and a pocket on the inside. Okay. And so this one's when you're on a full mat or in grass, thick grass. Mm-hmm. This one you use when you can use it on a full mat, but it will get hung up.
Oh yeah,
right.
But if you have pockets in sporadic grass or lily pads that are spread out, this is perfect because it'll pop up on a lily pad. You can get it in the water, and you just jerk that rod. And again, that's where no flex on your line, no flex on your pole will allow you to make a big noise. They want to hear it. And the whole thing is just to get it in their face, right?
Yeah, especially
snatch it.
You're just trying to piss them off, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly. I mean, if you're fishing with lily pads and grass and stuff like that, they're not going to see. They're going to be hearing or feeling what you're doing,
right?
Okay, and that's what's going to get you that strike right there.
Yeah, and so they got different frogs. So here's another standard frog that I have here. By the way, little juice, as Jeremy Shelf would say.
Little juice.
Little juice.
This right here, all of them, most of my frogs have BBs in them, and I actually brought a frog to show you, and show you how I put the BB in, just a little, just have a little bit more noise.
I'm interested.
I'm definitely interested.
But this particular frog, black and yellow is pretty much my go-to. Anything black with yellow on it, green, this and this is what they call Amazon from Spro.
Right.
This thing is money to me, especially on Lake Gunnersville. But this frog right here in my hand actually has a piece of Velcro on the top of it. Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we do.
So caught a few fish with this one. I've only caught like 2 this year, but this Velcro is kind of integrated into the frog up top. And so, if you've ever caught a bass, they got those little bitty fine teeth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they go to attack this, because they always attack from the front.
Right.
Right. Their teeth can hang on that just for a split second, right? So it gives you an opportunity to actually snag,
nice.
set the hook on it. Yeah.
And that's manufactured that way.
Yeah.
I've never seen a frog like that.
Me either, man. That is so cool.
And the thing about, when you're frog fishing
that's badass.
and you have one that you hook up on a fish.
This is Spro?
That is not Spro.
No.
I can't remember the name of that one right now.
Okay.
You need some super glue on your Velcro.
But, when a fish blows up on a frog, there's a general rule that you count to at least 2.5 before you set it.
I don't even count.
That is the hardest thing.
I just wait till I feel the weight.
That is the hardest thing.
Because the whole thing is they're knocking it up in the air. They're still trying to grab it and drive it down. And it's not until, because your reaction is, oh, it's right there. And you're just going to pull it right out of its mouth.
Yep. And it's going to fly right by your head.
Yeah, so that's why you always wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Solar that glasses.
Yes.
Always have glasses.
I've had a few frog missiles come at my face.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a Tackle frog. It actually has kind of like the Whopper Plopper.
Yeah, I just bought one of those like this year, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so it'll go through. It'll go through the top mats just fine. It'll go through lily pads. It has a tendency to get hung up in the lily pads a lot more. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be for that sporadic grass. A lot of time in the spring is when you would use this, when the grass is just now getting up, to push that one in. This one is a broken frog right now, but it's actually a custom.
I love that.
I took spinner baits and used the spinners off the spinner baits and created this. So when it actually goes to the water, you can't hear it.
Yeah,
you can hear it.
Oh,
you hear that clinking? It just drives them nuts. They don't know what it is because not everybody's throwing something like that. They don't hear it all the time. So
I don't know if you can see what I got tied on over there, but it's got like the feather legs, and a spinner.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Here is another frog. So that I've got it's been customized a little bit. Mm-hmm. It has no legs, right? Well, I wouldn't say BB. This is Lieutenant Dan, but but the fish were hitting this frog so many times that they finally just pulled all the legs, all the material out of the back of it. Gotcha. And then so we just took a cigarette lighter and squeezed the back of it together to keep it as much water out of it. And then when you get in a situation where the bass are blowing up and they're short striking, this will catch you bass.
That's awesome.
Just because it doesn't have anything else. It's going to be straight up lure on that.
Right.
Another springtime go-to is going to be your inline buzz frog.
Heck yeah.
Right? A little bit different frog. All the ones that I've been showing you are hollow body frogs. This one's actually a solid frog, but it's got that spinner inline on the front of it.
I like that.
It's a deadly bait. I mean, especially in the spring on the outsides of the lily pads when you're going about, 2 to 4 feet outside that line. It gives them something they can hear. It's a lot of noise, and they'll come up and strike this. Just anything to draw the fish out of its home. You want to try to make sure you make enough noise, right, with a frog. Not necessarily enough noise in your boat, so you want to make sure you're stealthy.
Spook them.
Yeah. This one I have not caught anything off of, but being a frog connoisseur, I guess you'd say.
Is it the lunker hunt?
This is the lunker hunt. It's got dual props on the back with a stinger hook. This one will get caught in everything. So this is going to be mainly if you're having a tough day and you're not finding mats and you're just going to throw at the wind. Go for this one. It makes a lot of noise, but it's going to be open water only. So
I've actually, been able to fish. I thought the lunker hunt frog was pretty awesome. And it surprisingly didn't get it caught up as much as I thought it would with that stinger hook. But I think my hookup ratio was a lot better with a regular hollow body. That was just me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was just me.
And then I'm trying to find another example of frogs because most of these frogs, you got 2 hooks and they're in line with the frog itself. So that makes them weed proof. It just slides right off because I'm taking my finger and moving it and I'm not getting stabbed. Right. They make some others that the hooks will bend out a little bit. There are some people that believe to bend the hooks out just a little bit so they feel like they get a better hookup ratio because the frog is not missing it, just barely catching that edge.
I feel like it depends on what you're fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're fishing some heavy cover, you kind of need to maybe possibly turn them in a little bit so that they ain't snagging up.
Sure,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My apologies, guys. I had to go hit the head.
So one of the other pieces that I always have in my boat is actually this tool. It's just a pair of scissors.
I thought he was going to do something cool.
Oh, no. But on the back of it is the sharpener.
Yeah. Hook sharpener.
So
what do you do with that guy, Chris?
So after you catch a lot of fish, these hooks will get dull and just rub them. Get it sharp.
Yeah.
Get that tip. So it
how
actually
mine get
pierces
dull?
through.
Catching a tree bass.
That's why you need 65-pound braid.
That's absolutely
So
right.
you can saw it.
That's right. So you can break that limb off and bring it back to the boat
Yeah.
and get you that tree bass.
Hey, look. Look what I got.
Absolutely. So are there any questions so far? I know we're kind of going through a lot of stuff
Now we're going
fast.
through. I like it.
Got any comments coming?
I mean, no, he just threw a lot of knowledge and everybody's just soaking it up.
Absolutely. What did Trinity say while he's out there cutting the grass?
That was a minute ago. That was the same question.
So who makes the best frog?
Yeah,
So
I missed
personally, what I fish with the majority of times is is a Spro and snag proof.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. The snag proof frogs are, man, these things like this one, of course, this has been through war. But this one is probably about 3 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So it's stood the test of time. Some of the snag proof, the older ones, Ish Monroe was sponsored. He was sponsored with them. He designed a frog that had a bladder on the inside. So even if you ripped your hook out or anything, it would stay floating no matter what because you wouldn't pierce that. He's actually switched to a different company now. Sure. So he's actually River to Sea. So
y'all don't think that Chris Marks likes frog fishing at all, do you?
Scott wants to know who makes them scissors that you got with the sharpener on the.
You can get those.
I think they're at Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart. Yeah.
But Ish Monroe has his own frogs out now through River to Sea. They're a little bit wider than your typical frog from most of the manufacturers. This one has a particular
rattle.
The back of it. This one had a rattle on it, but after the first strike, it normally goes away.
Gotcha.
So I haven't caught anything on this one, but this one again is kind of like the Spro Amazon colors that we were talking about that are good. That orange, especially in the fall, works really good. Yeah. Right now, you're looking either white, green, or the black and yellow, but in the fall, you'll switch over, right?
Yeah.
To those colors.
Yeah.
So is there like a certain technique that you do with a frog?
That's what I was getting to.
Are you trying to walk it? Are you trying to just make commotion and be all sporadic? Or
So, when we talk about walking a frog, that's usually when you're talking about on open water, right? So if you're just trying to get those strikes and stuff.
On the edge of a grass line or something
on
like
the edge
that?
of a grass line. And so you'll actually do something a little bit different. If you want to walk your frog, you're gonna clip the skirt.
Okay.
I don't think I have any in here. I don't have a whole lot. You can see that the skirt's a little. No.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
It's
Chris.
a little shorter than what I think.
So you would actually trim the skirt just a little bit,
Okay.
and it'll help you walk the dog better when you're doing that. But a lot of times, new out of the box, I'll bring it right to the beginning and automatically cut them right there to that.
Oh, okay.
So I actually brought a Spro frog, another one out of the box. Show you what I'm talking about.
So you guys out there listening, y'all are soak this up, man, because this dude right over here knows exactly what the hell he's talking about when it comes to frogs.
They're coming out of the box just like already trimmed.
Huh.
There are some brands that are super long that'll come out here. Long. You'll want to get them because they'll be striking at the legs before they even strike at the bait most of the time, unless they're coming up to attack. So anyway,
do you feel like them skirted legs are better or worse or different than the ones that look like actual legs or the paddle tails or any of that kind of?
To me, you're wanting to make a lot of noise, and usually with the paddle tails or the spinners, you're trying to make noise, but you're in sporadic grass. You're not in a big mat.
Right.
So when you're actually on a grass mat, it really doesn't matter if you're walking the dog. You're just pop, pause, pop, pause. Or you can just slowly just roll it. Mm-hmm. Don't stop it. Just roll it. Don't give them a chance to look. They're just kind of
trying to get that reaction bite.
Absolutely. And then sometimes you'll burn them through it.
Oh, yeah.
Some be like super fast. They blow up on it. You just don't know. It depends on the day.
I actually try all kinds of retrieves, just, wondering if they're looking for something specific.
That's the deal, man. That's the deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't know what the fish are going to hit, basically.
Right.
So, sometimes burn it. Try that and see if that works.
Yeah.
And then slow it down and pop it a couple times and then pause and see if that works. You know what I mean?
A lot of times I'll burn it first just to, I don't know if it works or not, but I feel like I'm trying to wake them up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to let them know something's in the area.
Yeah. Create a little bit of distraction or reaction type of deal. You know what I mean?
What's Jeremy Silva? It's almost all I've ever seen him throw, and we fish together almost every Saturday from March till May.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But my frog season starts in March. If I see grass, I'm throwing.
Right.
And we're talking like little patches in the middle of a slough. It doesn't matter if it's 3 feet. I'm going to put a frog in there.
Right.
And most of the time in the spring, I got one more. I'll show you.
All right.
It's the top-toed holly body.
The little ribbit guy?
Yep. Made by Ribbit.
So that's a hollow body that you throw on a frog type hook or a single hook?
So it is a frog hook, and I'm
okay.
Pull that one.
Chris brought us a plethora of frogs.
I'm going to have to get him drunk and make him forget those boxes.
Right, absolutely.
So yeah. So Ribbit does have frogs, the hooks that go with it. These hooks have a screw on the front of them.
Again, right out the box. These are brand new. You have these used to be.
Are there different sizes, or is this just their standard size for a standard frog?
So yeah, the 4 and the 5. I normally go with the 5s.
Okay.
I don't have them with me, but yeah, when you're putting that in.
Well, why do you choose the 5?
So it's a actually bigger hook, and so it'll actually get around the body, because when I put this one on here in just a second, you'll see that sometimes it'll scrunch up in that frog because
kind of holds a little too tight.
Yeah, it holds it too tight in there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, springtime.
Sure.
This right here, this frog will last usually about 4 or 5 strikes with it, or 4 or 5 catches before it starts to get destroyed.
Nice.
Most of the time they'll just bite the legs off of it. The beauty about this one is you can use dye and scent, right? I don't throw a whole lot of scent on this because it's on top of the mat. It's not like they can really see it. But if you're in open water, open areas for that, you might want to leave a scent trail because you're going to come right back on top of it.
Sure.
So we'll dye these with chartreuse or dye them red, or just spray that clean oil on them. So
Jeremy Self says, "Damn, Chris, I had hopes that one wouldn't come out."
Well,
Well, it did.
Jeremy, you're all about sharing secrets, bro.
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah. You can't get stingy now. I'm just saying.
So yeah, so this one is almost twisted in there. Trying to bring it back, and you're going to transpose that hook. There's a body right on the back of it. You transpose the hook.
Nice.
So there it is.
I've actually never used that particular brand.
I haven't either.
This one's cool because when you throw it, it whistles at you.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, because it's got that opening bottom.
Nice.
It'll
Like an artillery shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool. Man.
He said super sauce.
Well, I only got one more little nugget.
So I'll tell you, like the paddle that ribbit frog that you just showed, what my confidence bait is that would be very similar to that is a paddle tail swim bait. And that's usually what I throw because it's super weedless and I can throw it up on pads and grass and, all that kind of crap. And I'm going to pull it through and not get hung on anything. But that paddle tail, I don't know what it is about that paddle tail.
Well, it makes
but
it plop, 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 plop.
Yeah.
It gets bit, son.
Yeah. It's that plop, plop,
Yeah.
plop, plop. Again, they're not seeing it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I got on my other
Yeah.
frog rod. That's
That's just
a
a
regular buzz
bait.
toad or something.
Yeah, buzz toad.
They're
Nice.
I like 2 hooks on all my frogs. I don't like using single
Really?
hooks on any frog.
Sure. But that's it, guys.
So that's where I'm at on a swim bait. It's a single hook. So, most of the time I can be slow enough to not rip it out of their mouth, but every once in a while it
Yeah.
happens.
So one other trick, I had a whole list of stuff that I was looking at. One of the things when you're frog fishing
Yeah,
is,
do you think, bro?
oh yeah, is you want to be stealthy, right?
Sure.
So it's kind of like bank fishing,
Mhm.
right?
Well, you don't want to cast 75 feet away and all that grass and stuff, right?
No,
So you're
you
trying
want
to be stealthy and get close.
Yeah. So a lot of times we'll be approaching a mat, and it's just like if you were actually on the bank fishing. You don't want to throw 20 feet out your first cast. You want to throw the first 3 or 4 feet
Most definitely.
and just fan it down. And then if you don't get any blowups there, then you cast out an additional 10, 15 feet. So you're actually just quadrant it and working it out. And
Yeah.
then at some point, you're going to be like, okay, they're going to be in the middle of this mat. I'm paddling right to the middle of it. Ask Jeremy. We get right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Start hitting the edges.
Oh man, yeah. We can get in places on our kayaks, and you have bass boats all around you,
Oh, yeah.
and you're just pulling them out one after the other, right through the
That's
center,
what I
and
love
they
about it.
can't get to you. Yeah,
That's what I love about
That's
it.
it.
That
man.
is the kayak way right there, guys.
That's it.
Yeah.
so. Oh yeah, that is absolutely the best frog for early grass.
He said, piss off some dudes on a bass boat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I tell you what, we did that last time we went fishing. That wasn't last weekend. That was the weekend before last.
Weekend for last. Yeah.
We were up in North Saudi and we did some frogging and then I figured out that they wanted something different. But there was a bass boat right in the center of the channel fishing where all the damn striper were blowing up the whole time.
Yeah,
Damn
And I was over in the grass catching fish, and he just pulled up his trolling motor and left.
Yep. He couldn't do it. He couldn't get there, man.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was hilarious.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So I mean, when you get into approaching, right?
Sure.
You kind of layer that out. You want to be quiet. You don't want to be slamming your tools down in your boat. You don't
Sure.
want to be slamming your rods, knocking your paddle. You want to try to be as quiet as you can because they're not used to those sounds, right? And
Yeah.
you're going to spook them. You try not to spook them as much as possible.
Yeah, I did that the last time we went out. I did that.
Spooked him.
Yeah, I spooked him, man. I had a fish. It was really cool. It's a little story here. The fish, I saw about a 2.5, 3 pound bass. He was following my trick worm. I was doing trick worm wacky rig. Okay. And he was following. I could see him. The water was so clear I could see him. And then what I did is I popped it and it hit my paddle because I usually keep my paddle right through here on my lap. And that fish just turned around and swam away
Yeah.
because I hit my paddle. I spooked it. You know what I mean? And I was like, that was awful.
The only thing that doesn't get spooked are gar.
Yeah.
And they want to get in the boat with you half the time.
Absolutely, they do, man. They want to eat your boat, man.
So when we talk about the grass mats, we talked about easy approach, how you layer that out in sections. You get out in the middle of it. And so what are you going to be looking for when you're out there? What are you trying to throw at, right? If you just have a solid mat, what are you looking for? So when we get out there, you know how just like if you were like for your worm fishing,
Sure.
you're looking for light and dark spots in the water because it's clean water and grass, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Always throw to the dark spots.
That's right.
Same thing on some of these grass mats. Some of the grass mats are a little bit baked more than the others, a little bit browner, right?
Sure.
You know, to me, I think it's a little bit more shade, maybe. I don't know. But we always try to throw at those darker spots, you know, and especially if they have holes. We call them blowholes. I don't know what the technical
I love the
term
holes. I don't know what you call them. But.
So and the first approach to that is you throw to the side of the hole, right? You don't ever throw right to the center of it. You're going to throw past it anyway.
Oh, past it. Yeah.
You're going to throw past it, but you're also going to come to the side of it. You're not going to actually put that frog in the middle of that hole.
Okay.
Just to see if you can get something stirring, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times they'll show themselves. You'll see the mat hump up.
Oh yeah.
Because most of the time they're not sitting in the middle of the hole looking up. They're sitting on the edge of the grass looking up to attack.
I love when I throw something and I see that.
The hump.
Absolutely.
Woo! It's about to be on, son. Hold on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Heart-striking.
and then you know if you don't get strikes that way, then you'll throw over the hole and then you'll get in there and you'll just twitch it. You'll pause the frog. In the hole, you'll twitch without really moving the frog. It's just kind of dancing around in the hole just to try to draw attention. And then, especially if you have some rattles sitting inside the frog, which I'll show you that too in just a little bit. What else? Yeah, I mean, lily pads. I don't catch as much out of lily pads as I would like to. More the mats is where I normally catch them, and the nastier the mat, the better the fish.
Absolutely.
You know, you're gonna pull that fish in. It's gonna have 8 pounds of grass on it.
Oh yeah.
You're peeling off grass.
It's a monster.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait,
It's just a little ding. But yeah, that was the one thing. Your hands get all tore up with the braid, right? When you're tying. But that you can't forget that moss smell, that black hair. We call it like witch's hair.
Yeah. I
And
don't
it's
even
just
know.
your hands smell like that for days, no matter what you do to try to clean them up. But
Nope.
Yeah, you can't beat it if you're catching big fish.
Sure. Hell yeah.
Fast thumb and mossy fingers.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right, I got one more little trick that I like to do to pretty much all my frogs. You did see the Ishman roll that has the glass bead hanging off the bottom of it.
Right.
We ended up just taking just a good old pack of BBs and just putting BBs inside the frogs. You can do one or you can do two. It just depends on what your preference is. You're not trying to weight the frog down. You can put too many BBs in it.
Sure.
And the frog doesn't stay up. I mean, it'll still have a tendency to sink down.
Too much weight. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say, do you feel like? So I've heard of people doing it, not for sound, but to get the frog to sit at a certain orientation.
well, yeah. I mean, when you pull it, it's going to be pulling
Right.
toward the back. So yeah. So you'll get the lip up, and so when you're actually doing your tug, it's rocking back and
Okay.
forth. But yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, that's exactly how a frog, if it was a real frog, it's got more weight towards the ass end.
Well,
You know what I mean? So it's going to come, the ass
but
end's
you
gonna kinda
never
sink
see
in.
its legs like this.
No.
Its legs are always on the
Right.
top of the water.
So is his head. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
So in order to get BBs in here, because a lot of these frogs are pretty much sealed because you don't want a whole lot of water in them. You're always going to have a tendency to squeeze out.
Sure.
Right. And it's usually coming out where the legs are.
Him and I
done
are saying the same thing
We-
like 100
we've done-
times.
We've done it a lot. Yeah.
So to get a BB in here, the easiest thing to do is actually to take the frog apart just a little bit, peel it back and twist it.
Yeah.
So it's up here. So you have two approaches. You can either go from underneath, but the best part is this is kind of like a ramp
Okay.
in the middle of it. Of course, this is where
That's where a little bit of spit comes in.
Yeah.
little spit.
You gotta lick it before you stick it.
It's absolutely
Absolutely.
right. That's exactly right.
And you can push that baby in if your hands aren't greasy. The frog's greasy, so
Yeah.
where'd it go? Hey, your table's level.
So close.
So I don't know if I'll be able to get this in here because of the light, but that's how you put the babies in. If it's it'll go in. Let's see here. It's not going in right now.
That's all right. It's all good.
I thought I
So
should have
that's the point.
practiced this one before,
No,
usually
but that's the
it's
point, though.
I mean,
man.
that's a hell of a trick, though. So even at one BB, you're gonna get sound off that,
right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then,
well, here it gets the plastic.
the
go
hook
plop, plop,
or
plop, plop.
whatever.
Yeah, because there's nothing inside this frog. There's a weight on the back of the frog.
Oh, the lead weight.
Yeah.
I never thought
And
about that.
then you just have the frog, the hook, and then it's got like a little bitty link that goes to the eyelet.
Sure.
So that's why you're allowed, when those frogs will hit this thing, it'll twist both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Without having to ruin your frog. But yeah, having the BBs.
Does that work on the one with the bladder in it as well?
No.
Okay.
That's the one thing. You won't be able to do that with the bladder because you can stick them in there, but they're not going anywhere. I've tried it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just something a little bit different, a little bit of sound. It makes a huge difference because you can be throwing right next to your buddy. Everybody's catching fish. You're catching fish because you have BBs in it.
Right.
Some kind of sound, and they might not have anything.
Well,
Right.
that's the thing. If everybody's throwing the same thing, you want something to be a little different because they want something that they haven't heard before, haven't seen before.
Right.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Absolutely. Ron Biggs says, "Hey guys,
Yeah. Ron,
we're going to get you this damn sticker. I
Look.
promise you."
it's right here.
Yeah, it ain't made it to you yet, bro.
I'm going to mail it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You need to, I don't know if I have it, but you need to send me your address just in case.
We appreciate you, Ron.
I know
for real.
I have it at some point because he sent us a check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
But,
definitely appreciate you, bro.
But I don't remember if I have the envelope still for that.
Just put it in a cardboard box and just tape it.
Yeah.
So one other thing, I'm sitting there looking at my notes and I was going through a lot of stuff really fast. And, if you've got questions, please post them up here and we'll do the best to answer them while we're here.
Love you guys too.
You're going to be, when you're looking at the mats, we talked about, solid mats, lily pads. Another thing that you're going to be looking for is insects, bugs.
For the Iowa crew.
That's what Jeremy Self was talking about.
Yeah.
The bugs or I don't know what he's. Oh, what did he say? No, he said something about the bugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are looking for dragonflies. Yeah, a dragonfly is like a telltale sign. If you're on a mat and there's a ton of dragonflies.
Really?
Yeah. Because they'll strike at them,
Sure.
And then, we talk about boat position as well. Look for actually big birds of prey. Where we're out in Gunnersville, there's the ospreys, you have eagles.
Yeah.
Well, when those things fly over the mats, if you're looking and paying attention, because especially if it's around lunchtime, they cast a huge shadow and you'll see the mats move because of the bird shadows and stuff. And you've seen bass fish when you throw a frog, they can see that shadow coming across too. And that's where you see it kind of move just a little bit. It's a lot of the same concept when we look at that. But yeah, those things that we're looking for bugs, dragonflies, the mayfly hatches, and some of the edges on the lily pads and stuff.
Who was the dude that posted? Did he post in NAKA last week or something like that?
Oh, that nasty wall.
His kayak was covered in mayflies, man.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, covered, 100% covered. Like you almost couldn't tell what color the kayak was.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. It's just like
no, I would freak out, man. I'm out.
Yeah. This is crazy.
I don't even know if you can spray for that.
No.
Right.
I mean, I know they're not biting you or whatever, but damn.
So yeah, so that's the 101, right, in a nutshell. So that's
if you didn't learn how to frog from that, you in the wrong business.
No doubt. He's got like 14 different frogs out here on this table
Right.
to tell us how to do some frog fishing.
I mean, if nothing else, you got some ideas to, try something else out.
Absolutely.
I definally did. I'll tell you that.
I tell you what, man. The fact that you took those different types of baits, okay, and you sealed them up, you put the BBs in them and all that jazz. I love that. Absolutely love.
I mean, I'm all about trying to find that lure that it's just a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I mean, I don't know about where y'all are fishing, man, but where we fish most of the time, it's got pressure. It's got a ton of pressure.
Oh, Gunnersville.
A ton of pressure.
Yeah.
So anything different because the fish are stupid, but
they ain't that stupid.
But they're educated stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they've seen some things and they go, yeah, I ain't biting that.
I ain't
You know what I
doing
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything different, I'm in.
Definitely on Gunnersville, man, because they got boat tournaments all the time.
Lord.
I mean, it's just it's hard. The fish are walking around or swimming around, and they're like, "Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Right?
Ain't gonna happen."
I think I did see a video of a fish that actually walks. It was like some kind of weird. It looked like a bat almost.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was like, that'd be disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm out.
right.
I don't need it coming after me on land.
No, don't. Water deal, we're good. So we've got
Chris, that was awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Very much. Venom Tackle Highlight, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got the Gobi, super soft, 4.5 inch, kind of like a tadpole type of deal. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that because it's green, and we've got a little bit of a dark background. That's not going to work.
Where's the sticker?
It's not going to work. Anyway,
Stick it against that. Just throw it on there. There you go.
there you go.
Boom.
Oh, it fell.
It looks like a tadpole.
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
why I bought them.
Yeah.
Because they look. It's called a goby, right? And everybody, well, maybe not everybody if you're a beginner, but if you've been fishing for a while, you know what a goby is. It's called a goby, but it looks like a really big tadpole.
Right.
That's why I love this one.
So yeah, that guy's going to be a frog someday if you don't get eaten.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is, we're towards the end of spring. We're in summer now, but
We're definitely in summer.
yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is like there's still tadpoles out there.
Yeah.
And this size, because my stepson pulled one out of this tiny little creek in my backyard about this size.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, I want to keep it. I'm like, it's going to die in that tiny little 1 gallon fish tank you got. Like there's no aerator, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was this size, which I thought was amazing because I had just bought these and it was almost a match.
Yeah.
So
will you just hook those up just like a worm or?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you can go weightless,
Which is what I like to do. Because I mean, personally, no offense, I like to do that weightless because it kind of gives.
They love that fall, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't have weights on pretty much anything unless you're trying to get a little bit deep into 12 to 20 feet. Right now, everything is weightless. Actually, I'll put a swivel, one of the bigger swivels, almost like sidewalk.
Use that
swivel. And then
weight.
it's kind of a leader, about 12 to 24 inches. So you actually get that worm to stand, and because they're normally hitting it on the fall, right? Something slow. So
I've got a question. I haven't seen anybody ask a whole lot of questions here, but how can you be such a big frog fisherman, but not the punching sort of guy? Like, I feel like they kind of are in the same sort of situation.
yeah, I mean, it's just, you can ask Jeremy. That's pretty much all I'll do is I'll throw until I get something to react off of it. Even though we know they're in there. I did last week try it. I don't think I had a heavy enough weight to get it through. I was trying to do it in the middle of lily pads and bring it off a pad and drop it down in there because, we went in there and looked and it was just underneath those pads was milfoil. There was no eelgrass. There was no hydrilla. There was none of that dollar grass, all those things that we're used to seeing. It was actually hollow underneath it. So I was like, man, all it is stems.
Right.
And so if you can get this thing to punch in it, and I just couldn't get it to drop. I couldn't get it to sink.
Really? Okay.
I think it's just in comfort and just practice. But, a lot
I've
of
never
times
been a big on that, but I've gotten the stuff this year to really try it, to give it its college effort. You know what I mean?
And a lot of folks will
always try.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks will do it where even when we're just fun fishing, you throw a frog, you get a strike, they'll turn right around and just leave the frog sitting on the mat and turn around and throw that punching rig right on top of it. So they've got it marked.
Okay.
Now you can't do it in a tournament because you can only have one line at a time.
Yeah.
But so we do it a little different whenever I'm frog fishing with buddies. We're not necessarily right next to each other, but we're fairly close that you can actually
work
we
together.
We call it sniping, man. You get one blow up, mark the spot for your buddy to go and throw right on top of it and see if he can nail it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm all about that.
It's fun.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Self says punching from a kayak's hard, not impossible, but not easy.
No, you got to stand.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, because if
that's where
it's at
having
a
the
different
right
angle.
kayak is
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah. I tried it. It's just I'm not good at it.
I said,
well,
I've never been very good at it, and I've never invested the money to have the right stuff to do it.
Well,
but I have now the tungsten weights with the skirts and all the things, to sort of Carolina rig something into getting in there. But I'm gonna try it.
If you guys ain't figured out yet, bass fishing can be expensive.
Oh, it's they don't make lures for the fish. They make them for the fishermen.
Yeah, it can be expensive. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and like if you're going to be specifically just frogging, you don't necessarily have to take your Shimano DC $250 rod and throw it out there in that slot, because it doesn't really matter. You're not looking for the smoothness, right, on the retrieve, because it's going to be hitting everything and all the grass, and so you're better off to just go with the loose type reels that I guess we were talking about last week, or y'all were talking about last week.
We love loose.
You know,
we do.
$75 to $99 is all you really need. You know, 7-to-1 gear ratio, 8.
Right.
I've got one that's 9 that will actually ski them across the water.
Right.
But you know, you don't have to have the most expensive stuff to do frog fishing at all, because it's going to get nasty. You're going to have to wash out your gear. You're going to have moss rings where the line guides is. You're gonna have grass all over this thing. Your guides are gonna get messed up, and I guess that kind of leads into the next thing. You're using all this braid. Your tip, you're gonna have to get a replacement on that tip at least once every 2 years, because you'll knock that ceramic bearing out on them.
Oh yeah.
That they're, especially as much tension and pressure as you're putting on them, especially when you're actually hook up on a fish. Or if you hit the tree like I do sometimes, you're gonna knock that. You're gonna knock that eye out.
Oh yeah, it's always here we go with the tree bass.
Yeah,
I did that with my stepson last Sunday. We were loading up, and he had just spent 4 hours the day before. He just turned 16, driving, but he's really getting into fishing right now. And he said he wanted to graduate up and throw a bait caster. So I gave him one of my lower end bait casters, and I think it was the 6-4 ratio Abu Garcia, you know, one of my first ones.
Right.
And it's got 65-pound braid on it. I said, let's just throw.
Right.
So he's out there for about an hour throwing. You know, it's one of those rare moments that we don't ever get without, you know, because he's got to go somewhere or do something else. But he actually took the time to learn it. And then I said, okay, this is great. You only bird nest is like once within an hour, right? Because I told him, don't snap. You just let the rod do all the work.
Sure.
So he listened. I said, this is great. So you'll be able to take this with you tomorrow when we go out fishing. I said, but we're going to be in a kayak, so it's going to be a little bit different angle.
Yep.
So he was like, I said, you know, go get one of the beach chairs. So I go inside and get me an adult beverage and come out, and he's sitting in a beach chair and he's got his PFD on. I didn't tell him to do that.
I mean, he's prepared.
Yeah,
let's go.
And then we put the 5-gallon bucket out in the back of the yard.
Nice.
And he's just trying to nail the bucket, and then he'll give it to me. It's like the challenge, see if you can get the frog in the bucket. We did that for like 3.5 hours.
That's awesome.
And so the next day, I mean, he did not, I think he bird nested once, right? Where he actually threw but he's learning to keep.
I tell you what, that's the hardest thing for me to do, is to not snap it like I do my open reels.
Face.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool to see him learn how to do that.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
I made the commitment that I was like, I'm going to learn how to use bait casters, because for that particular thing right there, frogging, I feel like bait casters have an advantage.
Yeah, it feels
wrenching
like
it. Yeah. And I actually got when I said I'm going to make I'm going to make that commitment, I bought that 7-Eleven Abu Garcia Vendetta rod, extra heavy, and I got the winch, the Abu Garcia winch, and its gear ratio is only like 5.4 to 1.
Ooh.
But the way that they make that spool allows you to have that really big braid, you know, heavy braid on it, and still like just wrench them out. Like it's not fast, but it never stops. Like you're able to crank. Yeah. Like you never feel like, oh my God, I can't.
So, you know,
wrench.
6 or, you know, I have to do that on crankbaits.
Sure.
Because I have a tendency to go a little bit
Go
faster.
too fast.
So it makes me slow down.
Sure.
I have to use the reel to slow down. I always pretty much have the same cadence no matter what. Unless, you know, worm fishing.
I think that's everybody,
come up and
man.
drop and
Yeah.
Everybody gets to that certain cadence, man, and that's what they stick with. I mean, it's kind of mental.
But I would almost be scared with the 5 just because you can't get it in fast enough. You're like, don't come off this. Don't spit the hook.
Grab that rod, bro. The one right in front with the buzz bait on it. Does it say what it is? Oh, I figured you could reach it without doing all that.
Well, I mean, this guy.
Yeah. What's it say on the reel? I'm pretty sure it's 5.4 to 1, but I may be wrong. Does it say?
Revo 04 Winch.
Yeah, it's the winch.
Yeah.
It should say
It should be on the
something
very
to
bottom.
one, you know, some kind of ratio.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Negative.
Well, damn.
We'll take your word.
I'm
winch.
pretty sure it's 5.4, which is stupid low.
We'll go.
But
Right.
you'll be able to just drag
But it's the
it.
way that spool is made that you're just able to just keep moving. Like
Yeah.
it never stops. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I've thought about doing the whole like longer handle with the bigger knob, you know,
Right.
just to make it a little easier. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
That rod, I've got one just like it. My 8-foot is like that one. And you throw that thing all day long and you will know it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, it's so much different than throwing my spin rods too.
I've got
Even
one in
my
my
heavy-
truck I want you to feel when we get done with the show.
Really? Even my heavy spinning rod it's got way more action than that. And it takes me a minute to like, I'm throwing a bait caster and I'm throwing a super heavy rod. So like you just gotta swing it. You just gotta go with it. Like you cannot snap it at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you get that spool going faster than the bait's going, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm obsessed now with, trying to learn how to skip a bait caster.
So the only one I can skip.
Like that's a magic trick.
Yeah. I can skip my DC. I only have one DC. Put it
Yeah?
on the 4 setting and you can skip it, but you got to still have your thumb close because
Oh
if
yeah.
you hit the water too early, then you're gonna blow it up, right? You're gonna have a professional
Yeah.
overrun.
Oh,
My
yeah.
bad.
Professional overrun.
But that's the only one I can skip. That's when you need the open face because you can skip those open faces.
I'll
and not
throw a
worry about
basic tip in here right now.
it. All right.
If you're like trying to learn a bait caster, this is something that I learned from Pat the Patriot Anderson. Okay. Trying to learn how to use a bait caster. You get one really good cast where you don't backlash, right?
Okay.
And you launch it. We're talking practice, whether it's water or on land or whatever, it doesn't matter. After it lands and it stops spooling, you take, a couple little poles off the spool. And then you take a piece of masking tape or electrical tape or something like that, and you put it around the spool underneath where you're at. Now, when you reel it up and you cast again, if you backspool, it only backspools to that tape.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that that may be a beginner tip, but maybe I'm still beginning because I'm using my bait casters and I feel pretty confident with them, especially frogging. But I still have tape on them, like because I still backspool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm going from I've been using spinning rods for years now, and I'm trying to learn bait casters, so I still mess up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
So
Yeah. So my stepson, he, we're only getting just a few feet. By about hour 2 into it, he's like, "All right, you throw," and of course, just sailing it right. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm trying to hit my neighbor. They have like they have a house in the back, that they actually have a wall. There's no windows, so I can actually go and throw from basically where my garage is to the very back, and it's quite a distance.
right.
It doesn't look the same in your yard as it does in the water. In the water, you're like,
No.
oh, they didn't go far at all. you know?
Right.
Absolutely
But
not.
there's a certain part where if you throw too far, even if you have the heavy duty rod and the 65-pound line, and you're beyond your reach to really get the set. So you really don't need to be throwing it far anyway. Well, my stepson, he threw one, finally got so comfortable, threw it and hit the gutter on top of his tech. And then I see
Did
the
he hook
window,
it?
the neighbor's window come up like, what was that that hit my house? I'm like,
Oh,
What
gosh.
the hell's going on?
You just
man?
do one of those waves, like, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
So this is kind of like what started the whole story was we're loading up Sunday. He throws the bait caster, and this is at Mud Creek, and there's trees at the edge of the ramp, like where the actual boat ramp is, and he sails it right in top of like a little oak tree. And so I'm loading up. My neighbor, he was fishing with him for a little while, and he's like, dun, dun. It's like, what do I do? My neighbor, without get it out of the tree.
That's the kind of answer I would give.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
get it out of the tree.
yeah.
So
I mean, get it out.
So we let him, and I'm trying to load up the boats. And, normally I want him there helping me do this, but I want my Amazon back because he's got my other Amazon.
Right.
And so he's trying to pull, can't get it out. Then he goes and lets the spool out, starts walking across the boat ramp and getting on the other side of the tree, basically off the ramp, trying to pull it down.
Good Lord.
And I was like, okay, I got everything loaded up. I said, just hand me the rod. I get over there.
Let me show how it's done.
Yeah, let me show you. So I get up there and I was like,
That's a heavy rod.
Pop, pull. And I just start just hammering that thing.
Yeah.
Basically saw the limb, it's about the size of my finger and a half, and got my frog back.
There you go.
And then of course I had to check. But I was like, the good thing about this is that reel is seated in right now. It's not going to backlash right now off the next throw.
That's it.
But I got my
it's on there
back.
tight. Yeah.
I told him, and that's the other lesson. That's why we use 65-pound braid.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. I ordered 20-pound and 50-pound Venom braid, which I'd never thrown until a few weeks ago.
Sure.
And let me tell you, I am pleased with it. So one of my favorite braids, and they don't
just a difference in the feel.
They don't make it very big, but have you used the Berkeley Nano braid?
I have not used Nano.
The 17-pound Nano.
I love that shit.
Oh my God.
That's just like the difference between 20 and that.
Oh no, that's like rope.
Yeah.
What is that? 65?
65.
Yeah. So I love Berkeley. If you haven't tried it, any area where you would use 20-pound braid, try that Berkeley 17-pound Nano.
Yeah, for real.
That is the slickest, smoothest braid I have ever used.
That's why I bought that 20 is to go on one of my open faces, because I had a buddy that was fishing the other day. I had a 17-pound, and it was the Berkeley XL. I mean, that's like you said last week. It's really that's what I use. You know? But it kept the line memory kept screwing up on it, and I've been throwing and putting Real Magic in there, and
really?
Trying to get everything to level out, but. Because I don't want to take the line off. It's not that old. It's just I don't throw them that much, and so it doesn't get the stretch in them.
Yeah,
right.
But definitely worth trying.
That Nano braid is awesome.
Yeah,
so
it's good stuff.
Talking with some of our Venom brethren when they were on the show, they were like, "You should really try our braid," and I was like, "Okay, I'm in." You know what I mean? Like I'm Venom Pro staff. We're Venom Pro staff. I'm gonna try it. You know what I mean? Like. How I have done most of, I shouldn't say, I used the plastics a long time ago, but I'm getting where I'm using the full line of Venom stuff. I'm just ordering stuff I wouldn't normally buy from a tackle shop. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that braid, I got the 20-pound braid on my wife's spinning reel, and I have the 50-pound braid on my frogging rod, and I am pleased, man. Like I feel like it's on par with that Nano Berkeley. Yeah, that Berkeley Nano. Yeah, I should say.
Yeah,
it's smooth, super
that's what
smooth.
You need. That's what you need, man.
That's what I'm all about. I'm like, we ain't trying to bomb a cast, but I don't want to put a whole lot of effort into it either, because if you're frogging all day, your arm gets sore, man.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to make it as easy as possible.
You're trying to get your cup up in the truck or drinking, you're like, oh my
good Lord. That's it, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I like it a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Chris, what kind of upcoming events does NAKA have?
Oh yeah,
NAKA. Let's see, we got a youth trail that is coming up in like 2 weeks. I think it's July 25th. That's going to be on Cypress Creek in Muscle Shoals. That's always a good event for the kids 16 or less. Right. Parents can be with them in the kayak. They help them take the pictures, but the kids have to catch the fish.
Okay.
Cool.
But it's a good learning opportunity. The big thing with the youth trail is when the kids fish that, everybody's going to go home with something.
That's cool.
And Academy does our big bass, but they're really into supporting the youth trail. So we're talking about rods and reels and so gift cards, you name it. I'm
gonna say I'm pretty ignorant to it because I don't have any kids that are fishing it,
right?
And obviously I'm too old to fish it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, kind of introduction for these kids. We've had one already this year. I think that was Indicator right before the NAKA demo days,
right?
And then this one, and there will probably be another one, but. If you've never floated cypress. That's a really easy creek as long as it's not blown out, right? With the rain, but it's just a crystal clear, shallow for the most part.
We've got to fish that creek.
I've never fished it. Yeah.
We do.
Whopper plopper, Ned Rigs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My thiolade. And see if Venom's got my thiolade, just a little trick worm.
We need to do a bubblegum challenge.
Yeah,
bubblegum's deadly.
I'm telling you,
it can.
There was times where we just once a year, man, we make a bet like amongst ourselves.
Yeah,
like it's a bubblegum challenge.
Yeah,
that's all you can use.
And see,
so, it's fun.
August 15th is our river stop. So
river stop.
That's the stop where we always pick it strategically in August, right? Because it's the hottest time of the year. You don't want to be sitting on a lake. So what's the best thing about river fishing is you can just shade and you can get out of your boat, go just sit in the water, right?
Now, hold up. You said to get out of your boat.
Yes.
When did maybe I'm ignorant as shit. I don't really know. But when we were able to get out of our boat.
So
I mean, you've always been able to get out of your boat.
I have the ability. I didn't know that was part of the rules.
So you have to, like on the river stop, I mean, you have to have the pitcher with the fish in the boat.
Right.
Okay.
That's the rule.
Right.
There's no rule that says you can't be out of the boat.
Right.
Okay. So I mean, it's specifically
you can throw your boat in 6 inches of water, stand in the water and fish. Yeah. And just take your picture on the bump board on the boat.
But your boat is pretty much attached to you, and you have to have those pictures with the boat in there and the bump board and all that. So yeah, there are a lot of guys on the river stop. We'll go fish.
Sure.
Right next to there, they'll bank it and go throw in the rapids because there's no way you're going to hold that kayak sitting in the middle of that rapid when you're trying to catch a smallmouth.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and with the rules on that river stop is it's a small flowing creek river. The general rule is if you're sitting in the center of the channel, you should be able to throw your rod from one side to the next and hit the bank.
Yeah.
If it's a lot wider than that or just dead coming right into the lake, that doesn't count.
Right.
And so and that's a good thing about the Tourney X this year. So on the winners
GPS.
we'll be able to go look at the GPS. Well,
Nate caught that thing in the middle of the main channel.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
That don't work.
Let me rephrase that. Nate will be able to go look at that. He's our club president. He is the only one that looks at those locations, and that's just to verify that they caught that if they're in the money. So,
I think that's so Nate can go fish those areas.
That's how he got his own spots.
I'm just talking smack.
So that's the two NAKA tournaments that I know of that are coming up, and then we'll have our classic. That'll be in September, right. And that's invitation only.
Top 15,
but
big bass and all that kind of.
But I mean, so if you're in the top 15 and you're a big bass winner or you won the tournament, then that automatically opens up the next slot for number 16, 17, 18. Right. So sometimes you can get all the way into the 20s depending on how everybody was doing in the tournaments that year.
I made it to the classic last year and I was super stoked.
Yeah, I did too.
I got big bass.
The last year, not last year, but the year before that.
Yeah. So it'll be on Guntersville, right? Because Freedom Marine is sponsoring, the boat. So it was one of the requirements that we needed to be on Guntersville, which I have no problem with that.
I feel like we've made it to the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to the thing that you're supposed to get to.
Yeah. And so being on the board or directors and all that, that's one of those advantages. Like even if I don't make it in there, I can usually fish the classic. I remember the first time I was in there and I didn't make it on my own. I was like, I'm not going to fish it, but I'll be at the weigh-in or whatever.
Right.
It's just one of those principles. Now I'm like, no, man, I put all this work in hours. I'm fishing that thing.
Yeah.
Because you fish this whole time. When you get to the classic, all the money that's left over, because NAKA is not for profit,
right?
So 100%. They don't keep anything. So it all goes back to the anglers, and it goes back to the anglers at that classic. And it's not just the winner gets a little pot of it, but last year we did door prizes for what, $300, $500, and another
bunch.
Yeah, we were just giving the cash back. So the sales from the hats and the T-shirts and stuff like that, all that money just gets rolled back into that. So
I think that's
what we love about
the most amazing part about fishing with NAKA.
Yeah.
Like that it's all about the angler.
Right. We love that, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So currently as far as NAKA goes, we're in Big Bass Month.
Yeah.
July is a big bass
The
month.
last big bass month,
It is.
right?
Yeah. We only did
Yep.
3 this time. They're actually for points. So there'll
Yeah,
probably be one
right,
in
right, right.
October, right? Normally we have the October big bass.
Sure.
And that'll just be for money,
Right.
just for fun.
Right.
So it'd be great if we can get that little tri-state throwdown up in Stevenson at some point, if we talked about.
Oh my God. My mom just dropped a bomb on me.
What'd she say?
She said, just FYI, Dad got a new toy today.
What did Pops Coughlin get?
Dad got one of my like dream cars,
What is your dream car?
a 1970 Plymouth Duster in sublime green.
What? The fruit?
That's one of my dream cars, bro.
Yeah. That's
I ain't even fishing related, but damn it, man.
awesome. Right. Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Ma. Yeah,
Appreciate
for
you.
real.
Yeah.
You just crushed a little boy's dreams.
I think she's well.
BASS qualifier. That was the other one. That's
Oh yeah, August 8th,
August
right?
8th.
August 8th.
Yeah.
So you got any questions on that? You need to get with Jimmy Skinner.
Yeah.
He'll be able to answer all your questions
right.
for that.
I do want to fish that for
That's
sure.
the real deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I want to go to the classic. That's why I thought it was cool. I was able to do that Logan Martin tournament. I thought that was really cool. Like I didn't do that good, but I caught fish and I did okay. But I was part of like history as
Right.
far
Oh,
as
yeah,
kayak industry goes. BASS, the very first BASS kayak tournament. I thought it was awesome, man. And the group of people that were there is like all the people that I watch on YouTube. And
Yeah, all the sticks.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I just thought it was cool to be around that kind of people.
And
Right.
I think John Lessman, he was, he's a NAKA guy. He fishes with us all the time. I think he came in third, right?
He
Yeah,
killed
so-
it.
Yeah, that was awesome to see John
Yes.
do that well.
Absolutely.
I think the top 10 in that,
Tennessee was killing things.
yeah, but the top 10 in that qualifier gets to go to the classic.
yes.
So, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
big incentive. So,
Absolutely. We got one more thing we want to talk about. On September 19th.
Oh. Let's get to it. Go ahead. Go
Oh.
ahead, bro.
I thought you said you wanted to.
I said,
yeah. September
Go ahead.
19th. There it is.
There it
Boom,
is.
Pow. Twisted Hooks Fishing has partnered up with NAKA.
Right.
All right. And we've got Burns Victims Tournament. All right. Jeremy, if you don't mind.
All right. So
We
yeah. James Boyle
yeah.
is my little stepbrother. And him and Natalie Smith were at a party last Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving range. Yeah.
And a horrible accident happened and they were severely burned.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like
Both of them.
80 to 90%. Yeah.
Yeah. He spent 165 days.
Months, man.
I want to say it was 165 or somewhere right around 160 days in the ICU burn unit at Vanderbilt. So
it was all.
yeah, he's burnt. And if you go to my page, you go to the Twisted Hookers page, you'll see stuff about this tournament and you'll see stuff about James. If you go to the NAKA page, you'll see this event as well.
Right.
We are just trying to help the families out.
That's all we want to do.
And we try, this tournament that we're throwing on, it's not a kayak tournament. It's not a boat. It's for everybody.
You could be 6 years old.
Right.
You could be 66 years old.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Kids, adults, kayaks, boats, it don't matter. You can come to Madison County Lake. You can fish without. It doesn't matter what you got as long as it's not a gas motor.
Right.
You can have an electric motor on a John boat, on a kayak. You can fish from the bank.
Right.
It don't matter.
You can fish from a
Right.
25-foot John or
I mean, you could have a
motor rocket. It doesn't
30-foot yacht if you want. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you got a trolling motor.
matter. You're good.
Or you're going to drift.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
whatever, man.
And you might get stuck if you come out here with a 30-foot yacht.
I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
I was just thinking
the
that
south end's kind of deep.
with the ramp, though, you're
Yeah.
going to drag your car in the
Oh.
water.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
It's a little steep.
You can have whatever you want as long as you use an electric motor to, get around. But
But it's all about helping the families out, man. I can't
that's it.
imagine.
That's it.
I can't imagine what these medical bills look like with these
No,
guys.
it's nuts.
You know what I mean?
It's nuts.
I mean, I I don't even have words to describe it. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals where like, what the fruit, dude? You know what I mean? What the fruit? But hopefully you guys can come out. We've had people donate money.
Oh, my mom. What did I say? Did I say stepbrother?
Yeah.
Oh, well, brother-in-law.
Yeah, he's your brother-in-law.
No, I mean, I don't even know what I said. Sure.
Apparently,
I said stepbrother, I guess. Guess what? He's my brother.
That's it.
That's it. Like, I don't care about I don't care about
in-law. No.
You're my brother.
Yep.
Yeah. We ain't
even blood.
Right. You're my brother.
But he's my brother.
That's it.
Yeah. Chris, we don't even, I don't even know who your parents are.
I don't even, with you.
No, for real.
There you go.
Yeah. You're my brother too. You know why? Because we share the same interests.
That's right. That's right.
We want to help folks. And that's the only reason why Jeremy and I wanted to do this.
Like, we decided, this is what we want to do.
I mean, this is important to us.
How do we help a guy who, you know what I mean, like his family and his friends and whatever, like this was our way. Like, this is what we know, right? We know fishing. Like so, I mean, we fish tournaments. Why not put on a tournament?
Right.
And we're doing our best.
Yeah.
We just want people to come fish.
Right. And NAKA was cool enough to help us out. They're going to help us promote it.
That's right.
And we're getting closer and closer. And here it is. We're in July. All right.
Yep.
We got August, September. We got about 2 months left.
It ain't much time.
6 weeks.
That's right.
And that's where we're at. So
I've seriously tried very, very hard. So, you know the rules with Tourney X, right? If there's no money awarded, then their fees and all that stuff are free, right? So I've contacted every kayak manufacturer on the planet trying to get like a free kayak for first place, and I'll promote the shit out of it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, but it hasn't happened.
And it's going to be tough. I mean,
no, it's hard.
Yeah, it's tough to let companies to get rid of some of those boats right now, especially since there's a shortage.
All the
they're making so much money right now, and
they can't even get the materials to make the boats right now.
You know, that is funny. I just walked into a local convenience store yesterday, and I was looking around. Normally, this store right here will make you a sandwich if you want like a Cajun turkey sandwich or a bologna sandwich or whatever. This girl had no meat whatsoever.
No meat.
She had nothing. She had nothing.
That sounds horrible.
It was awful, man. And I felt bad for this chick. I mean, I really did. I felt bad for this. I mean, she's a local little small business owner, you know?
Yeah.
What I mean? And half of her shelves were just completely bare.
Yeah.
Ryan says I get to use a badass kayak when we come down. You damn Skippy.
Yeah, you do.
You get to use mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? There's another one that looks just like his.
Just like it. Melinda might be on that one.
I mean, if she wants it,
you know,
it's open. Nobody's claimed it yet.
You gotta do a reach around or something. I mean, come on.
I mean, all you got to do is say, "Hey, I want to ride. I want to use your kayak."
If you don't know what that is, don't Google it.
Right? Don't do no blue waffles.
Scott Atkins says he's ready for it, man. He's coming to the burn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't use a Honda, Scott. You got it.
So, Chris, we need you.
Electric.
Sorry, it's time, bro.
No. Yeah. So I have tried very hard to get some serious door prizes. What we have is Tony Dean's in.
Tony Dean is in.
Like we haven't even talked specifics. He was like, hey, whatever you need. You know what I mean? Like Tony's awesome, man.
Tony is awesome.
Venom has, I don't know if you've looked at the Twisted Hook stuff lately. You got to scroll back a little bit. Maybe I need to repost it, but they have posted. They gave us a bunch of stuff.
They did.
Right?
They really did.
Ryan and Melinda from On Demand Decals in Iowa, they gave us some badass tumblers, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
As well as the flags.
The flags are awesome.
They're my little brother in Iowa, he's a volunteer firefighter, and the flags are the thin red line, and they got some signatures on them from people that are just, wanting to support.
Right.
That's we got my dad who threw down the challenge. Yeah, he threw down the challenge. He threw down $100 to each. Was it each? Or was
family.
It, yeah.
Yeah.
$100 each, right?
And he said, I'm gonna give $100 to this guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give $100 to that guy. And I challenge you
to do it.
Do the same
Right.
damn thing.
So since then, we've got Ron Biggs, we've got Scott Hines, and we got Jason Lilly all
in.
toss money in.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we ain't talking millions of dollars, but every dollar counts.
Every
man.
little
every
bitty
dollar
red
counts.
cent counts. You know what
I think we sound like one of them
infomercials?
No, what's the thing where they got the tables of people on the phones and call now and
The telethons.
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Telethon,
that thing.
that's it.
That thing. Yeah, no.
No, that's not the deal.
We just, try and do what we can do.
Right. We want to help these guys out. It's a real deal. This is not bullshit. We want to help these guys out. They have.
I mean, if you think it's bullshit, check out the video on my page.
On Twisted Hook's page.
And you'll see how badly burnt
CB
James
Hatton's
really
page.
is. Yeah.
I mean, there's many sources that you can check out.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's legit shit. That's all I got to say.
That's it.
It's legit shit.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we got on itinerary.
Scott says he may bring his Ascend 10.
Well, bring it home.
I mean, what's wrong with your new canoe Frontier 12, son?
Yeah. Oh, well,
why wouldn't you bring that?
Well, he's gonna have to take his motor off.
Yeah. So
take that damn motor off.
I mean, why wouldn't you fish your Frontier, man? That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what they make sawhorses for.
Exactly.
It'll mount a motor. You can put them on a sawhorse.
That's right.
Exactly.
I've been talking to Chris since I bought my new canoe. I think about that new canoe had sold that 9.9 horsepower motor.
Oh, he's been
to
all
go.
over it.
I'm like, I'm getting it. I don't care what it costs. I'm gonna get it at some point.
Right.
Yeah. That thing was awesome.
It is awesome.
I was just trying to think about like if you didn't have your scuppers in, like it's going.
I never fish.
You're gonna have a
Look,
little ball
I'm
wash.
250 pounds. I don't fish without my scupper plugs in.
Yeah.
And there's only 2. You know what I mean? And it's in the back. So I don't know what the Pursuit has.
It's got 4.
Does it have 4?
Yeah, really.
2 up front and 2 right there on the seat. And that's why I was joking. Like if you're scooting down the water, that if you're planing a little bit, that's the scupper hole that's going to have it. So you're going to have a little washing action going on underneath.
Yeah. Oh, Scott says he's going to bring it for somebody else to use.
Well, how cool is that?
I mean, how cool is that? Well, come on, Scott.
Man, Scott, we love you, dude.
We do.
We fucking. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Chris.
Even though Chris stood you up, he loves you.
Yeah, I stood you up, bro. I did. I deeply regret that. I deeply regret that.
All right.
But I can't go back and change it.
It is what it is.
Yep.
Got to move forward.
Roger.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me come out and hang out.
Man, we want to thank you.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you very
That
much.
was awesome.
Thank you very much, man.
No problem.
We really do appreciate you coming out.
I'm a fan of like learning anything most of the time. Like even if it's something I'm not into, I like learning new stuff. But I'm into this, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, I need to learn how to crappie fish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole different level.
I mean, drop it in, pull it out. That's what I know. They taste good.
They do taste good.
They taste good.
You talk about getting a longer rod.
I mean, just get a cane pole, man.
I still have my cane pole from when I was a kid.
I've never used one, but I was like, they don't even have a reel, man. They just got a hole in the line.
You're
man.
spinning it.
My pops gave me a 12-foot crappie rod.
12 foot.
12-foot.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
My crappie rod is like this big from, was it Bass Pro, the crappie max?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go fishing with my Barbie pole. I don't care.
I don't need it.
that
It
would
don't
almost
take
qualify for that.
Let's just go. Let's just go fishing.
Let's go, man. I love fishing.
Hell yeah, man. We do appreciate y'all.
Ryan says, see you in a few weeks. Great show. I mean, it's more than a few weeks, but yeah, September.
Nobody went to sleep.
Nobody went to sleep.
I mean, Chris Marks has a little more personality than some other people. That's all I'm saying.
Indeed. I'll just leave that alone.
I wasn't teeing up anything.
I'll just leave that alone.
Yeah. If you didn't learn something about frogging, you done messed up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. If you didn't learn something about frog fishing, then
I'm telling you what, I've been fishing for a handful of years, and I'm kind of OCD about shit.
Well,
right? Am I not?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Just
No,
a
I'm
little
kind of OCD and I learned something. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So, Chris, man, we really do appreciate you coming on the show.
Love it.
No,
I had fun. It was
we're,
awesome.
We're glad.
Thank you for
did.
coming.
Thank you for coming, man.
And we love NAKA. We love NAKA support, and we really appreciate that you came out.
If we didn't love NAKA and what they do, we wouldn't be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is our going on our fourth year.
Yeah.
It's on our fourth year.
we did like a tournament,
right?
But we didn't do the whole series,
right? But what I'm saying is we love the way that you guys put on the tournaments.
Yeah,
you're fair about everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yo. Let me drop this on you for a second. Last parting knowledge. I was at the demo for that kayak, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Eric Jackson, the owner of the guy who created Jackson Kayak, now has created another kayak company called Apex Watercraft.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
And they dropped this first model called the Tier. Okay. Well, they came out and they demoed that prototype in Huntsville last weekend. And
who was a part of that?
I mean, I was there, son.
Who was it? Who else was there?
NAKA was there.
That's right.
NAKA's the one that promoted it.
Right.
And I was like, I'm in. I got all kinds of footage. I just working through it. But where was I going with it?
I don't know.
Oh, the hog trough. That was one of my questions, right? He's talking about how this kayak is, it's really for the guy who just needs 1 or 2 rod and reels, a small baggage of tackle, just get out there. And it's the kayak is only 35 pounds. The production model's 35 pounds.
Right.
Carbon fiber. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's what you get when you spend $11,000.
Exactly.
So it was a fantastic kayak. Okay. But I was like, how wide's your kayak? And he said, I think he said 34 inches.
Skinny.
Outside to outside.
That's
right?
Skinny.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, our new canoe is right around there.
44?
No.
Oh.
No, it's not that wide.
It's almost 4 feet.
30 something. Anyway.
We'll measure.
So my question was, what's the inner diameter between the gunnels? You know what I mean?
Right.
Will a hog trough or a catch board fit in between the gunnels and sit on the rails?
Right.
What do you say?
Well, because, a big thing, especially over the last, I'll just say 12 months, is that your board is flat, right?
Supposed to be.
And he's like,
yeah, cheater.
it was like one of those, I don't know, let's measure it out sort of thing. Let's figure it out. He goes, but what I've always done is kick the right side of my board up on the thing, right? So it angles down towards the floor of the kayak and it pushes the fish against the bump board and all that kind of shit. And I was just like, yeah, but that leaves room for cheating and things. You know what I mean? It's in the rules. The board's supposed to be flat, right?
Agreed.
Is it not?
No, absolutely.
The board's supposed to be flat. So he goes, well, every fish I've ever submitted has been illegal. And I was like, I guess they were nice. You know what I mean?
They were allowing that for a while, but it was after the whole flex incident.
Yeah.
That's when it changed. But because we did the same thing. Fish are a little bit more relaxed if they're at that angle. But they're also a little bit more close to the edge of your boat when they kick and they go right off the end of the board.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
They don't get to use grips.
Right.
So, I was like, that's one of those things where, it allows people for some cheating of some kind, right? And, angles of pictures and this fish look different.
Right.
And I was like, and then you throw your, some of them, they allow you to put your hand on them and you're pushing too hard, because that's been a thing. And yeah, it's supposed to be flat. And he goes, well, I just learned something. You know what I mean? I'm talking to this guy who's inventing a spacecraft as a kayak. And he goes, oh, I just learned something.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool.
They went to the aluminum boards, for a lot of
I love the catch board. I mean, it just takes all the bullshit out of it.
I had the 30 something inch
It
one.
was long. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
it's
got
too
the
much.
26.
So now they're coming out with a new one that's integrated rails and all that. So I may reinvest. But I mean, because the weight, I didn't really care. I mean, yeah, it's a heavy board, but it's in my boat. I'm not like toting it around all day.
Exactly.
So that didn't make a difference to me.
I like that. You know, you can't flex it. There's no.
So
you
I
can't
did
cheat
order
on it. You know what I mean?
I did order the new one, the new material from Catch, the plastic board that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have. So I'm gonna try that out.
Cool.
So,
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was just a parting information story.
No, for real, man. Chris, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, sir.
out on
no
the show.
problem, guys. Anytime.
And it was awesome. It was a good show.
So yeah,
This weekend I'm gonna be throwing some frogs a little different.
Oh hell
I'm
yeah!
gonna tell you that.
Oh no doubt, no doubt. We're going Saturday.
Yeah. So I hope
Yeah, I'm in.
something.
it'll be fun.
Yes,
Get out
sir.
there. It'll be hot.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hot.
Where you want to fish at, Chris?
Huh?
Where you want to fish at?
I don't know if I get to fish this Saturday.
Oh, why not?
It's supposed to be 50% chance of rain. That's what I
Well,
heard
hey.
like 2 hours ago.
The fish are
3
already
hours ago.
wet.
Yeah.
Why do they care?
I mean,
I
they
think
don't.
I'm going to Birmingham with the family birthday.
Oh,
show,
Oh,
so yeah, I don't get to do
Well,
you're
that.
gonna
that's
hurt
cool.
some different kind of lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. That's it.
We love you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you. Appreciate it.